Mike Missanelli Show. We open another week. It is Monday, and again, as we inch closer to the Super Bowl on Sunday, we will be in New Orleans on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Today, we are at Rally House in Willow Grove, PA. And, we got Bill here. We got Ray back at the studio. We got all of our people here today at the Great Rally House with all the Eagles merch that you can possibly imagine surrounding us here. But let's talk about what we're up against. The X and O's will come later in the week, and we'll try to delve into what the Chiefs are going to do, try to do against the Eagles defensively, and whether the Eagles are going to be able to curtail what the Chiefs do offensively, and Patrick Mahomes and all that stuff. But it's interesting today that the Eagles are getting lauded by, and I know we've been playing it in the morning show, the Tom Brady comment saying how good the Eagles are, which is, listen, the guy like Tom Brady says it. It's nice. It gives you a little pump. But you know what's really interesting about it? Philly fans are now lauding Howie Roseman. And I started to think, and I know, Bill, you did too. Bill Colarulo is here. Hi, Bill. How you
What's
doing?
going on, brother?
Were you handheld today?
I'm holding it in my hand today. I don't know.
Microphone today?
I'm feeling. I got to stand if I want.
Were you at the Grammys?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, okay.
Like, what are you wearing, Mike? What is that?
All right. Well, I'm wearing Ned Nast.
There we go.
Actually, today.
I like the handheld.
Yeah. All right. So, in any event, we want to talk about how indigenous it is to Philly, or whether it is indigenous to Philly, on bailing out on our people before we should. Like, for instance, Howie Roseman's high now. At one point recently, he was low, right? Nick Sirianni is high now. At one point, he was way low, to the point where they thought, a lot of people, including me, thought that he shouldn't have come back. Jalen Hurts, way high a couple years ago, MVP. See, now people go, hey, I don't know about this guy. Is that just a Philly thing, or is that pretty universal, that fan bases are quick to bail out on their people? Because let's face it, this is an immediate results business, right? You want to get immediate results. If your team is slogging along, you're not going to have a lot of patience. Now, I know in some geographical areas it's not as life or death as it is here in Philly, but I got to think, and I know you think the opposite, but I got to think this goes on everywhere. Fans are fans. They want the immediate plate of food in front of them. And we don't get it. They get hungry for it. They start bitching and moaning about it. So what is your spin on this whole thing?
Yeah, patience is a virtue, Mike, but I think it's a virtue.
Listen, patience is a virtue.
But I think it's a virtue that we don't have here in Philadelphia. And I think it really goes back to, and I've said this before, we've never had a dynasty in this city. The closest thing we've ever come, 74-75 with the Flyers. Outside of that, there's never been anything even close to it, where I think other cities do have more patience than Philadelphia. Because if fans had it their way, and I'm guilty of this too, Roseman wouldn't be the GM anymore. You're right. Sirianni would not have been brought back this year. People are already calling for the backup quarterback midway through the season, and we've done that before. We did it with Andy Reid. We did it with Donovan McNabb. It's not just isolated to the Eagles. We do it with Rob Thompson, although the Phillies have had all the success that they've had. I do think as a fan base, we tend to lack patience. And in professional sports, like you said, I know they want their food right now. Sometimes patience is necessary to get to where you're going. And look at this now. Second Super Bowl in 3 years. Third Super Bowl that Howie Roseman has built, and he's done it with two different quarterbacks, two different head coaches. If we would have had it our way, maybe we're not gearing up for going to New Orleans at the end of the week.
I couldn't disagree with you more. I really couldn't. Because here's the way I look at it. Like, if this was a lower market city, maybe I would agree with you. But it's, to me, this is the fourth largest market in America. And when you have the fourth largest market in America, you have a responsibility to your fan base to be good and to perfect good. And you got to maximize with expertise how you manage a team. You have that responsibility. So, no, I don't think we are impatient. I think this is a very cyclical thing. I get it that it's cyclical. Sometimes you can't hit every year. But look at the Chiefs. I mean, they have maintained. Look at the Patriots all those years. They maintained. The Chiefs are a small market, Boston is a big market, larger than Philadelphia. So the responsibility for Boston to win was higher than Kansas City, but Kansas City has done all they can for that fan base. So I believe that when you have a big market like this, it is up to management to do whatever you can to field a winning franchise. And right now the Sixers are low. The Eagles are up, but the Eagles have also had a couple slog years after they won the Super Bowl. So the key is that your expectations as a fan base should always be heightened. You are the consumer. You are going to see a show, and you want to get the best bang for your buck.
I don't disagree. You're not wrong in my famous words. But I do believe that you have to have some level of patience. I mean, we tend to knee-jerk after one season. And I saw someone in the YouTube chat say it, and it's spot on. Success isn't linear. So you can't just expect to constantly be at the top. And when you're not, heads have to roll. I think if we would have done that, and this is where Jeffrey Lurie has been a great owner, in showing patience, in giving Howie Roseman an opportunity, in giving Nick Sirianni a second opportunity this year, not knee-jerking like a lot of fans wanted to do, look where they are now. So you're not wrong in that people want immediate results. I get it. But you can't just knee-jerk after one bad season or one bad draft.
So are you suggesting that we should not have reacted? We should have been more patient when the Eagles did what they did last year, completely collapsing a season?
No, I think they should have handled it exactly like they did. You moved on from the coordinators. You realized that you lacked personnel on the defensive side of the football.
No, I'm talking about the people. I'm talking about the fan base. Are you saying the fan base should have been patient through that slop?
They should have been patient in certain areas. Where,
well, how? How would you say? So what do you mean they should have been patient in certain areas? They lost 6 of their last 7 games.
Because specifically with the head coach. I mean, I thought it was a knee-jerk reaction to say because he lost 6 of 7, he's got to go when he had been to the Super Bowl the year before. It would have been a knee-jerk reaction, and I was very critical of Howie Roseman, but I didn't call for his job. It obviously would have been very knee-jerk to say, oh, Howie, what a bad offseason he had last year. He needs to go. No, nobody was saying that because I guess Howie Roseman had proven himself in delivering the Super Bowl and then the Super Bowl appearance. It would have been a knee-jerk like some fans had did all summer long saying Jalen Hurts isn't a great quarterback. Jalen Hurts is going to be the problem this season. Those are knee-jerk things. You're right to be frustrated, but we as a Philadelphia fan base take it one step further. We want heads. We want heads to roll. We need people to be held accountable, and they got to go. I think we need a little bit more patience, and this was proof of it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, wanting heads. I really do. You know, because what the wanting heads does? It keeps the organization on their toes. If the fan base wants heads, they got to react, and they got to do better. That's why I think it's beautiful what we do here.
It's beautiful.
It really is.
It's
a beautiful thing. All right, 610-632-0975 is how you get in. I don't have a clock here. Do we have a clock? Oh, here we go. All right. Yeah, we're up.
Yeah, we're good.
We're perfect. Anyway, today, Tim McManus joins in today. We'll talk about the crazy trade that was made in the NBA.
Crazy.
We'll talk about the Sixers last night. Oh, my God. Let me just say this, okay? There's a lot of people that went to that game last night. Well, hey, what do you expect? They only had 8 players, and it's Boston Celtics and blah, blah, blah. You should not lose a 26-point lead with 5 guys from the YMCA. All right? Much less a pro team.
I made the mistake of texting you. Man, can't believe the Sixers are blowing out the Celtics.
Especially because they were blowing out the Celtics.
Next thing I know.
Collapse like that?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Nick. I get it. You're playing with the Delaware Bluecoats, half your team. You can't blow a 26-point lead.
No, you can't.
All right. I'm peeved about that. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show. Live at Rally House in Willow Grove. Stop by, say hello. We're back after this.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico, and Silvana Kelleher. The best show ever. Smart.
Everybody, Mike Missanelli Show live from the Rally House in Willow Grove. Mike's checking out all the Eagles gear over there. What do you see, Mike? Anything you like?
The Eagles gear here is unbelievable. I mean, I'm just blown away by all the Eagles gear.
I don't know where to start when I was looking for stuff.
It's funny because a lot of them have a lot of the shirts are like you can't, like NFC champions, like. I don't know about that one. Like,
don't sell yourself short. Wait for the Super Bowl?
Like, would you buy the NFC Champions thing?
I personally would not. So, what I like to do is get the one that says Super Bowl 59 on it. Because even if they win, you could still rock that as they won Super Bowl 59. But if they lose, at least you have the Super Bowl 59 shirt. The NFC Champion one, not my cup of tea.
It's a no-win shirt.
Yeah.
Because if you buy it, and they don't win the Super Bowl, then you can't even wear it.
No, you're probably right. You can't.
Right? So I don't understand the logic of an NFC Champions shirt.
Yeah, they have some of those, but they got a lot of other stuff, too.
Yeah, the other stuff is amazing with the Super Bowl logo. Do you like the tie-dye up there for, like a chick?
I'm not a tie-dye guy,
no,
but
not?
I know some people are. See, I like the traditional, and you went the same. The Kelly Green hat. I'm holding it up for YouTube now.
And I went fitted hat. Now
I went snapback. I like the snapback.
I don't get that either.
You don't like the snapback?
Well, why would you get a snapback if you can get a fitted?
All right, so I know you're against. I know you're against grown men wearing hats backwards. I like rocking the snapback backwards at times. I like that look better than a fitted hat backwards. If that makes sense. Look, Mike's looking at me like I got three heads.
First of all, you're too old for the backwards hat.
See, I don't think I am.
Yes, you are.
I don't think I am. I'm like Dan Quinn.
No, you're tall. See, you're such a bro. You're like in your 40s.
I am in my 40s.
All right, so no. When you get a fitted hat is so like how often do you get a chance for a fitted hat? And you got that on the back.
Yeah, it says Eagles on the back.
Eagles script on the back. I mean, look at this hat. Check this out.
Yeah, it's a nice hat for the YouTube audience.
I mean, you cannot.
And I went with the snapback.
You cannot beat this hat. This is the classic hat. And you went snapback.
I did go snapback.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not a huge fitted guy. I don't even know what my hat size is, Mike.
Well, why don't you try a few on? They've got 7 different sizes over there that will fit that bulbous head.
Well, that's the problem, too. My hair is growing back. Is it going to fit me in a couple of weeks? You know what I mean? It's the whole thing.
Your hair won't grow to the point where it's going to affect your hat size.
You don't think I'm going to have I'm not going to have a Nick Wright head of hair soon?
Get carried away with the head size here with the hair. All right, let's get to the text board because I'm telling you, I think that us well, you call it overreacting. I don't call it overreacting. I call it consumer protective. That's what I call it. Not overreacting. Consumer protective. We have had too many years of under performing teams, right? So this is what the only guard you have against that as a fan is to overreact and say, but you're really not overreacting. You're demanding better.
I understand the demanding better, and I said it earlier, I can understand why Philadelphia fans sometimes lack patience. We've never had the dynasty. The closest thing, 75 with the Philadelphia Flyers. Every other major city that has 4 major sports has had some sort of dynasty, and the Eagles and the Philadelphia fan base, you've never had it. However, we've had a lot of success in the last 40 years since I'm alive. I know only 2 championships. But really, they've been in it a lot. They've gotten there.
But why are they in it? Because the fan base is demanding. Why are they in it this year? The rebuild of the Eagles. Oh, because what happened last year? It was a disaster. And fans reacted accordingly. So what was the mandate for Howie Roseman? Improve it, damn it.
Yeah, but if we go back and if the fan base was granted their wish, let's just look at the Eagles organization. If the fan base had been granted their wish, Howie Roseman would no longer be the general manager. Nick Sirianni would no longer be the head coach. Some of the fans would get their wish. Jalen Hurts wouldn't be the quarterback, and we'd be sitting here with rebuilding almost every single season. The fact that Jeffrey Lurie has put patience into practice is the reason why the Eagles have been to a Super Bowl twice in the last 3 years.
He put patience into practice. What was the first 4 games of this year? What were they doing?
They were close to being 3-1.
They were?
Outside of a drop pass by Saquon, they're 3-1.
The quarterback was turning the ball over like he did before. So the fan base reacted to that, didn't they? So how did the Eagles respond?
Look, they changed. Yes, they went with a more run-heavy approach.
Right. Now,
but I'm talking about you're talking about the small paint brush strokes.
No, I'm not. I'm saying
I'm talking about the overall
dissatisfaction. Even with 2-2, you would call that an overreaction and not having patience. Well, things wouldn't have changed unless they changed. They're the ones that changed during the bye week. They changed the quarterback. They changed the style of how they were going to play. Why? Because the heat was on.
Yes, small brushstrokes, though, Mike. I'm talking about the overarching, massive changes that people call for, which would be overreaction. There were people calling for the head coach's job at the bye.
All right, but that wasn't an overreaction. You keep saying it was an overreaction. Listen, it worked out. Don't get me wrong, and you could always have that argument. Well, see, if we would have reacted to the fans, we would have had this wonderful coach. Well, maybe you would have had a wonderful coach anyway. There's no way to predict that.
Let me bring this around, though, Mike, because let's talk about another organization in the city, the Flyers, okay? For years under Ed Snyder, they lacked patience. They went for it every single season. And how many championships do they have to show for it? 0 in my lifetime.
Is that a sport in this town?
Stop it.
Like I'm sorry, but
they've lacked patience.
I can't make that comparison with the hockey.
There it is. There's the horn. Now look, maybe there's too much patience on the Flyers organization right now.
Listen, football is king in this town, so we're evaluating everything on what the Philadelphia Eagles do, and I don't think that we're impatient. In fact, I thought the fan base was right on board. A guy loses 6 to 7 games in the last part, doesn't have control over his franchise. So they're saying, let's go, let's move on. That was a righteous view at the time. Now, as it turned out, it worked out for the Eagles to keep him. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it works out like Doug Peterson wins the Super Bowl. Sometimes things like that happen.
All right, what about Howie Roseman then? I mean, we could go back to
we got a break here.
We got a break. Yeah. So we'll talk about Roseman on the other side because fans wanted his job, and look what he's done. Mm-hmm. I can make the argument he's the greatest GM in all of sports right now.
Oh my God!
And I'll make it coming up on the other side.
Look at this: 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Arriving in New Orleans, I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Corona. Join 97.5 The Fanatic this Sunday at Patty Wax on South Street starting at 2 p.m. for the big game pregame and watch party with Andrew and Connor. Enjoy $5 Coronas, $5 Modelo drafts, and exclusive prizes. Don't miss out. Details at 975thefanatic.com. Please drink responsibly. The Eagles arrived in New Orleans yesterday as they kick off the week leading up to Super Bowl Sunday. The media marathon began with a send-off yesterday. Continues with the media opening night tonight at 8 o'clock. We spoke with Super Bowl 52 champion Torrey Smith last week, who remembered just how annoying this process was and how it bothered a notable teammate of his.
You kind of just know that's just the schedule you're on. That it's just what comes with the territory. I remember Alex and I being highly upset and bored at the process when we were going through it, and it does get on your nerves.
We'll keep you updated with everything going on from New Orleans, including talking to ESPN's Tim McManus coming up at 12:25 about this week, what's coming up for the team, and what to expect from opening night for the media tonight. The winter teams in town had a brutal weekend. The undermanned 76ers opened the weekend blowing a game to the Nuggets and closed it by blowing a game to the Celtics. Meanwhile, the Flyers haven't scored a goal in a week and lost in Colorado yesterday. This update also brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. At Mercedes-Benz, there's a reason they go the extra mile from testing their vehicles to creating AI that can anticipate your needs on the road. They demand that every car is worthy of their star because it's Mercedes-Benz. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Vacation? Business trip?
right, 10:29, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, the Fanatic, live at Rally House, where you can get all kinds of merch. You know, I just went to the restroom back there and a little dismayed that the Penn State stuff is kept there. But
it's right where it belongs.
Stop before you hit the...
Right where it belongs, right next to the bathroom. Put him in the bathroom.
There you go. Eagles, look at all the racks of Eagle stuff. I am blown away by the variety here.
So we came, and Rally House is hooking us up with some gear to take to New Orleans. So I got here early thinking, all right, I'll quickly shop. It's overwhelming, man. I didn't know where to look. There is so much Eagles gear right now.
Let's go down the line here. Let's go. All right, so from the far left, Philly Special with the play diagrammed on it. Is that you?
That's a pretty classic shirt.
Is that you?
I have a Philly Special shirt.
Oh, you do?
Not like that. That one is in the Kelly Green. I like it. It's got the diagram of it.
So you're a go with that.
I would be a go with the Philly
short
Special.
Short sleeve or long sleeve?
I'd probably go short.
All right. How about the Dead Eagle chalk outline T-shirt?
No. Now, I don't think that's a chalk outline. It's like in the stars, I think.
Oh, it is?
Right? It doesn't look like it's like a constellation.
It's like a chalk outline, like a body on the street.
Was that what it's called? A constellation? Am I saying that right?
Constellation.
Constellation, yeah.
Not consolation.
Now, I like the white sweatshirt next to it.
You like that one?
For like my wife. That would be a nice women's sweatshirt.
Okay,
right
that's it's a Philly thing in the Eagles script.
Now, it's a Philly thing. Wasn't that their motto last season? I think that was last season.
I'm just saying yes or no.
I wouldn't do that.
No, that's not you?
No.
No one likes us. And
we don't care.
Is that we
no
don't
one likes
care?
us. We don't care.
Yeah,
the reason why I don't like the reason I don't like that saying, and we say it a lot.
We care.
We care. We care more than any fan base cares about what people say about us.
Keep going. Philly's
classic.
You like that?
Yeah.
I know. Now we get to the champions, NFC champions. We already talked about that, conference champions. It's like touching the conference championship in hockey, the cup, without you jinx the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, you don't touch the trophy.
Yeah. All right. Tie dye, no good.
What about that?
That John with the skull guy and the 26.
It's Saquon Barkley, but it's made to be like New Orleans with the voodoo.
Yeah, it's a voodoo Saquon.
That's pretty cool.
You like that?
I do like that. I don't know if I would get it, but I like it.
All right, how about a golf shirt? Would you wear a golf shirt that says Super Bowl on it?
Probably not. I'm a little bit of a snob when it comes to the golf shirts I wear on the course.
One last thing. You got the numbers in front of you. 1, 6, 11, 27. Where are you going? You got only one.
Oh, 1, 6, 11, or 27. I'm probably going. Oh man, that's a tough one, man. I'll probably go Hurts. I'll probably go number one.
Go number one.
But for me, second would be
11.
No, 6.
6.
Love Devontae.
Go Devontae.
I love Devontae. Yeah, I'm probably going. Say, what are you doing? You going Quinyon?
Quinyon 27. Not yet. Not recognizable enough yet. I go 11.
You're going AJ.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking AJ's going to have a big game against the Kansas City Chiefs, man. I'm thinking this passing game is going to really be able to have its way because they're going to sell out and stop in the run, and you're going to see them make some big play. They do, but AJ and Devontae, when we talked about this all offseason, and I know the passing game hasn't been as effective this year as people wanted. Mm-hmm. They're one of the best wide receiver duos in the entire league, and now you've added Saquon, and you got Dallas Goedert. The Chiefs have their hands full. This is not the dominant Chiefs defense like it was last year.
All right, last week, I guess it was, Bill, in only the ways Bill can do it, in the middle of a serious conversation about football, all of a sudden stops it and says, I got to give a shout-out here. And I'm thinking, well, it's got to be connected to the conversation. It comes out of nowhere. He gives a shout-out to his buddy John Martino, who just got the head coaching job at Camden Catholic.
That is correct.
And as fate would have it, guess who's on the line?
No,
right
Marty.
Now, John Martino. Will you know him as Marty?
He goes by Marty.
Hey, John, how are you?
I couldn't be. Listen, I'll tell you what. It's coincidence? I don't think so. You're talking about patience? I've been on hold for 40 minutes. My goodness.
Well, John, we thought we would open the show with you, but we decided to get into other topics before we got to you.
Mikey, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm a little offended that your producer did not recognize my guinea charm on the phone and just put me right through. It's a little upsetting.
Yeah, you got the olive oil hair too?
Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? I got this thing. I got this thing coiffed to perfection.
Well, John, listen, congratulations to you. I know Bill was all giddy about giving you a shout-out a few days ago, so congratulations on that. But I got to get your opinion. As a football coach, I got to get into your brain here because I know you've probably been X&O in the Super Bowl, right?
Oh, listen, I got to tell you, I mean, I got good news, bad news. I am an X&O guy, and I would love to talk about the Super Bowl, but, you know, I got good news, bad news. I had to turn down the Camden Catholic job because all this press I've been getting. Kellen Moore called me over the weekend, and I may be heading down to New Orleans with him. So that's why I'm calling in there.
You're going to be the OC.
Billy for the huge promotion. Yeah, Billy, I can't thank you enough.
Now, Marty, let me ask you a question because this is going to be right up Mike's alley. We're talking about patience, and if the fan base would have had what it wanted, Nick Sirianni wouldn't be the coach. You and I have battled at length. You are not a huge fan of the head coach.
Not even a little bit.
Ooh. Well, tell us why. Even now.
Well, it goes. First of all, I'm not a huge fan of his antics. Okay, and we can go down that road and we can talk hours at a time. Billy and I have gone back and forth with text messages and personal conversations about that. But here's my take on this year. This is my take. Now, remember, they were 2-2 after 4 games, and it was a terrible mess at that point. And then they rattle off all of these wins. And, of course, you know, Monday mornings, Billy's singing his Sirianni love song. And I got to tell you, they rattled off those wins. This is my personal opinion, agree or disagree, but I think Nick got the call upstairs from the big guys and sat them down and said, hey, look, you got to knock off the antics. You got to step back a little bit. Let the guys do what they do best, and you just do your rah-rah stuff in the locker room. And if you've noticed, you don't see his mug as much.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right. By the way, I think that's what happened. I thought they told him to calm it down, and I also thought they made a commitment to change what they do with the help of the offensive lineman who also talked to him. So you're saying he doesn't get credit for that, though?
No, absolutely. I think he gets credit for realizing his deficiencies and saying, okay, let me step back. Let me do what I do. Not so much deficiencies, but his positives. He knows he's a player's coach. He's a rah-rah guy. Let me stick to that. Okay, let me stop jumping up in the stands and high-fiving the fans, and let me stop walking out at the hash in a timeout and talking to Jalen. Let me stop running down the sideline because I know the camera's watching me call timeouts. And I think he said, okay, I'm going to step back and just do what I do best, and let's watch the positive results. And
but he's got to get some credit for that. Hey, John, listen, thanks for checking in. Congratulations again on getting the job. What do you predict next year? You going to be a winning squad?
Listen, we're going to be in the mix. We got a young roster. I mean, the foundation was laid last year. They did a great job pouring the concrete. I'm just going to come in and put up, some window dressing.
Oh,
that's all
nice.
I'm going to do.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful day.
John, thanks for checking in. We appreciate it. That's your boy, John Martino.
He's a good dude. But yes, see, all I heard there was hater. Hater alert.
And in the same breath, he's giving him credit. They changed it up, and they became successful. So you can't. I don't know if you can have it both ways. But I get it. Everything he said was true. They called him in and said, you got to stop this nonsense. 610-632-0975. Is it indigenous to Philly fans to bail out on our own people before we should? We're talking about it. We'll go to the text board after this.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Sixers win. Play that song.
The Starting Wednesday, we are live from Radio Row in New Orleans as we get ready for the big game. Right now, the show continues from the Rally House in Willow Grove. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
It's the Mike Missanelli Show, live at Rally House. Oh, man, you got to get some down here, get some Eagles gear. We're in Willow Grove. There's plenty of rally houses all around the Delaware Valley with all the latest merch that comes in. This fresh merch comes in every day, man. These people are producing this kind of merch. They're busy.
I can't get over how much merchandise there is. I say it every time we're here because it's not just the Eagles. It's every Philadelphia sport, every local team. They are busy. I think about the people who work here constantly. And now they got extra tables out with all Super Bowl gear.
Yeah, they do. By the way, you got your hat on. You don't have it on backwards. Why don't you put it on but like you wanted to wear it?
I said at times I like to wear it backwards with the snapback. That's why I like the option. Now, today I'm going forward. But, maybe I'm playing a sport or something. I want to turn around backwards. Maybe I'm holding my daughter and I don't want to hit her in the head when I'm holding her and looking down at her. I'll turn it around backwards. You see, there's many reasons for it, Mike. You're older than I am. The backwards hat was a thing when I was growing up.
Backwards hat was a thing when I was growing up, too, believe it or not.
I thought it was Griffey Jr. who started it.
I didn't come in with the frontiersman, for crying out loud.
Yeah, you were wearing the raccoon hat.
I just think that there's an age restriction for it.
See, I don't think there is. I don't think there is an age restriction.
I think there is. Yeah.
But wasn't it Griffey Jr. that really put it on the map, the backwards hat?
He was 19. All right, let's go to the text board. The text board on the patience conversation that we have. Bill thinks that we lack patience on our own people. And he says we bail out before we should. That if we have patience, we will understand the merits of all these great people that we have playing sports for us, managing sports, coaching sports. So, Ray, what do we have?
All right, we got a texter comparing us to Cowboys fans. Being here in Dallas, Texas, fans do not care and have all the patience in the world. If that mess was going on here in Philly, we would have ran Jerry out of here so fast. Cowboys fans are weak, and sports radio in Texas coddle to Jerry. I love it.
Okay, so first of all, we could never run an owner out. This is the one thing that an owner is immune to being run out, unless you want to think like Norman Brayman, who got so much heat back in the day that he finally got disgusted with it. But you cannot run owners out because they know that it is the easiest investment ever.
Yeah,
that you could possibly make as a businessman.
Yeah, so you're not running owners out, but we do try to run GMs, head coaches out a lot.
And there's no question because those guys are responsible for the performance that we see on the court, on the field. And so this is why I don't think that we bail out on people before we should. If you're doing a bad job, the fan base needs to put you in your place. You're there in trust. The team is in trust with you. It belongs to the fans. Technically, it doesn't, but it belongs to the fans. So you're managing their portfolio, basically.
Yeah. So now here's what's interesting, because Brandon, our YouTube guy, he clipped a small portion of our show from earlier. He posted it, and then some hate comments are coming in that this is a negative topic. It's a negative conversation, and I don't look at it that way. I look at this as a positive conversation. I am praising Jeffrey Lurie for being above all of the knee-jerking, being above all of the overreactions. And because of his patience, there's a reason why the Eagles now are one of the most successful franchises in the entire National Football League.
You're looking at it like it's his patience. I'm looking at it like it's a kick in his ass. That you got to do better. They've been very successful. Howie Roseman has not always been successful, by the way.
No, he hasn't.
And so when he took the heat, He has adjusted his whole thinking, and that's why it's good for the people to put pressure on that. It's not bailing on people before it's time. It's like, dude, look what you're doing here. Let's get it in gear. You got to do some different things. It's the same with a coach.
Yeah, but see, you're saying it as you're putting pressure. You got to be better. That's not what fans wanted. Fans wanted Roseman gone.
Bill.
Gone.
That's what fans do. They don't that's what they say. Well, I'm done. I'm done with him. He should be fired. Well, that's just the fan speaking out. Basically, that's the form of pressure.
I guess
they don't have any power to clip anybody. They're just saying, "Hey, you got to do better." And the frustration comes out at a certain level. It's like, "All right, well, he needs to be gone." but they don't have any power to do it. They're just saying, you got to do better.
Now, I think we overreact, man, as a fan base. Look, we did it for years with Andy Reid. We did it for years with Donovan McNabb. We're doing it right now with the Phillies.
Win. Bill, the Eagles under Andy Reid, even though he was a good coach, he built a nice program. They didn't have anything to show for it. It's like the Sixers not getting out of the second round. What are we supposed to do? Have patience for that?
No.
Are we supposed to have patience for Andy Reid not winning something?
No, see, there's certain levels to this. I agree with you. With the Sixers, I've run out of patience, man. I thought this was going to be the year that they had a shot to get to the finals. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. I am running out of patience because we have been patient, because we were told about the process and everybody bought in on that patience. But with the Philadelphia Eagles, the reason why I think we overreact, you're literally talking about a team that went to the Super Bowl in 2022, and then because of the way last season ended, people wanted heads to roll. And because Laurie exercised patience, look where we are, man. We're getting ready to go to New Orleans on Wednesday. Because he didn't overreact and fire the head coach. Because he didn't make drastic changes in the front office with Howie Roseman. Because Roseman had a very bad offseason 2 years ago. That defense was terrible last year. Every move he made didn't work. But it's not going to work out that way. You don't bat 1,000 as a general manager every single season. So I was critical of Roseman, but I wouldn't call for his job last year.
All right, there are two things that work here. Number one, we don't have the power to call for anybody's job and make a change in the front office, right? So you're lauding Jeffrey Lurie's patience when he didn't have to do anything. I'm talking about the fan base here. You're chastising the fan base for wanting more, and I think you're out of line. I think you're out of line when it comes to that. Fans could want more. They are the customer. They are the consumer. If you're not doing right by them, they can bail out. That doesn't mean that the organization is going to react to them, but it's like that form of pressure. Yeah, that guy should be fired. Yeah, he should be gone. That form of pressure makes those management people want to do better and need to do better because they don't want to hear it. If they weren't hearing it, they just go merrily along, sing song and whistle and Dixie. I mean, whistle and canaries.
Yeah, I just can't. I understand frustration. I don't understand overreaction. That's where I draw the line.
610-632-0975. I want to get to talking about this NBA trade and the Sixers. We haven't talked about the Sixers in a really long time. And last night was I find it hard to believe. I really do. I can't imagine that you could lose a 26-point lead that you have in the third quarter. And, of course, there's the big trade that happened last night. And one could wonder, gee, I wish the Sixers could pull off something like that, but they don't have anybody they could trade for a guy like Luka Doncic. 610-632-0975, back after that.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Arriving in New Orleans, I'm already done with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles arrived in New Orleans yesterday as they kick off the week leading up to the Super Bowl on Sunday. The media marathon began with the send-off yesterday, continues with the opening night tonight at 8 o'clock. We spoke with Super Bowl 52 champion Torrey Smith last week, who remembered how annoying the process was and how it bothered a notable teammate of his.
You kind of just know that's just the schedule you're on. That it just what comes with the territory. I remember Alshon being highly upset and bored at the process when we were going through it, and it does get on your nerves.
We'll see how the players react to it this time around. And, of course, we'll keep you updated with everything going on from New Orleans, including talking with ESPN's Tim McManus coming up at 12:25. Winter teams in town had a brutal weekend. The Underman Sixers opened up the weekend and blew a lead to the Nuggets, lost that game, closed it by blowing a big lead to the Celtics and losing that game. Meanwhile, the Flyers haven't scored a goal in a week and lost in Colorado yesterday. This update is brought to you by True Green. True Green, get a golf course quality lawn for less than you think. Don't wait. Sign up at truegreen.com for 75% off your first service. Let the pros handle the work while you enjoy the results. TRUgreen.com. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, 10:56. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. We're live at Rally House in Willow Grove. They're opening at 11 o'clock, so I assume it'll be a big onslaught of people coming in here, right?
I think they may have opened early.
Oh, they open early today?
Because when I got here, there was already fans in here buying gear. So they must be accommodating the Eagles fans, knowing everybody's getting eagled up, baby.
Good. This is going to be quite a week. As you know, we're going to be broadcasting live from New Orleans at a place called Radio Row. There's like 150 outlets that are in this big convention center room doing their radio shows there, and guests come by, and it's like a mad grab to get some guests. Now, I can tell you, I promise you that we won't get guests that bore you.
Yeah.
Because we have really no desire to take up your time with a random guest.
Now, my favorite ones are the ones where, like, did you see videos? And this was a couple years ago. People thought they were getting Randy Moss, but it wasn't Randy Moss. It was actually the horse guy. The horse guy, Randy Moss.
Horse broadcaster.
Yeah, so we'll make sure we vet our guests before we bring them on. But this is my first Radio Row, Mike. I'm fired up for
Now,
it.
I can tell you that in the New York Super Bowl, I had back-to-back Aaron Paul, and Breaking Bad was hot then.
Jesse.
Right? Yes, and Jennifer Gardner.
You like Jennifer Gardner?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Was she – wait, when was that? What, Super Bowl?
Within the New York City one.
So was she still married to Ben at that point or no?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I like Jennifer Gardner too.
Who else? So we had somebody else too. New York City, there were all kinds of stars that walked by. That's when I ran into Steven Tyler in a pizza joint.
Steven Tyler. Well, let me ask you this, because New York was a fun one,
He was
I'm
all
sure.
banged up, by the way.
Do you think
they said he was recovering?
He wasn't.
Wow. He was behind me. He was right behind me, right? So I turned behind. I'm in the line. It was a Ray's Pizza. So I grab a slice. I turn around, and it's Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think it was like a Howard Stern birthday party or something that night. So I turned around. I went, "Oh, what's up, Steve?" He's just a guy in line, you know?
And did he respond? Did he know who you were? Was he like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Mikey?"
Yeah, he knew who I was.
What's up? I listen every day.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
So you've been to a lot of Super Bowl destinations.
Yeah.
New Orleans, the best possible Super Bowl destination?
Right up there.
I'm trying to think. What would
Right
top
up there.
it?
It's a perfect 3-day town. I told you. It's like, pretty amazing. The 3-day town.
It is the perfect 3-day town, but there's a lot of people who had to get in there yesterday because the media festivities did start today down there.
Yeah.
I think that would be too long. Be there for 10 days?
Yeah, that is too long. That is too long. You can only go to so many restaurants that will, calorie load you.
Yeah.
With,
so
Creole cuisine.
And on Friday, you flipped. Before you were saying you weren't going to be devastated if they lost this game. On Friday, you're saying, you know what? No, I am going to be devastated because they're the better team. As the weekend progressed, I'm getting more and more confident, man.
Yeah.
Are you getting more and more confident with this?
No. I think they'll win the game. I'm not like overly confident like a lot of people say they're going to beat them by 10.
I'm getting there.
I think it's going to be a really close game.
I'm getting there.
I think it might come down to a kick.
I'm just still trying to figure out, and we'll break down all the X and O's all
that
week.
Kansas City Chiefs team's not going to let you go up by like 2 touchdowns.
Well,
that defense going to let you go up by 2 touchdowns?
Well, you remember 2 years ago, Eagles were up by 10 at the half.
Yeah.
So they were up by 10.
Yeah.
But I look at this team, I'm just, as much as it all comes down to X's and O's and all that, you could throw that all out the window.
Yeah.
How are they going to stop this offensive line and Saquon Barkley? I'm just not seeing it.
Legal ID time. Now, you're listening to WPEN and WPEN HD1, a Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios. But today we're at Rally House. But when we're in the Comcast Business Studio, it's powering possibilities. All right, let's talk a little bit about this NBA trade before we get back to our Eagle topic. So yesterday, out of the blue, on Sunday morning, you wake up and boom, Luka Doncic is traded for Anthony Davis and some other scraps that are thrown in there. And a lot of people that were like their eyeballs popped out. Like a 25-year-old kid who's maybe like top 5 player in the league, and you trade him, and people go, well, there must be something beneath the surface that they would trade him. And the most obvious thing that's coming out is that Dallas they didn't have to do it. Like next year he would have played. They're talking about a contract extension 2 years down the road, which I go, that doesn't sound right. You can trade him in the summer if you're afraid of that. You have to play the rest of the season with him, and in the offseason make a trade, or even next year you can make a trade if that's what you're afraid of. So people say, well, there's got to be something else. Now, I don't know what it is. It looks like the guy's constantly out of shape, and he's always hurt, and he probably annoys people. But the trade is weird. You only get Anthony Davis back for Luka. And the word is, like, why didn't they peddle him around the league? And some people are saying, well, the league had to be involved here. It's very important for the league to have great teams in New York and L.A. Do you buy that, Bill? That the league was involved here?
I don't. I mean, it really sounded like this was just between the general manager. I mean, nobody saw this coming. Don't you think if the league was involved and more people were involved, we would have at least heard
I think
some rumblings?
I think if the league's involved, you're not going to hear it. the fact that nobody knew about this means they didn't shop them around. Because you start shopping them around, and there's going to be a leak. And so that doesn't do anybody any good. So they took really basically the first offer, the one offer from L.A. Why would they do that? Why? What was their strong? My God, Adam Silver's so strong, he could get his own damn building built where the Jetro lot is in Philadelphia, much less shape and trade to the Los Angeles Lakers.
But so what benefit is it for the league, though? Like, where are we thinking the league benefits?
L.A. You have to have a thriving NBA team in L.A. It means a lot to the league when L.A. and New York are king. So, I mean, but that's just a theory. Here's the other theory. And I heard this actually on NBA radio, Eddie Johnson, who has an afternoon show. I was listening one day, and they were talking about the lack of shape Luke is in all the time. And Eddie Johnson says, I can tell you why. He likes to drink too much. And I'm like, I almost drove off the road. I go, what? So maybe there's something to that the kid is just he's got that part in him where he doesn't take the game seriously enough to be in shape. Surely he dominates the game offensively. He puts no effort on the defensive end whatsoever because I think he conserves himself. And he conserves himself because maybe he's not in shape to play defense.
But he took him to the finals last year. I mean, that's what's crazy.
He did.
When we were talking about overreactions and knee-jerk, the guy took you to the finals last season.
And that's what I'm saying. They're looking like there's an accident that's about to happen with this guy. So let's move on before the accident happens.
Now, is there any chance here, and I'm not believing in this, but is there any chance that they were just that high on Anthony Davis? Like they think he's just that good of a defender?
Listen, he's 31 years old. Like, how long are they going to be viable with him? Plus, they've got two centers already. He wants to play the four. He's not very good at playing the four. So now they've changed their team completely. He's going to be at the four. They've got two guys at the center, Ronnie Gafford and Derek Lively. And then they'll have Kyrie carrying them in the backcourt. Maybe it makes him better. I don't know. This guy is one of the league's superstars when he's playing and he's not hurt. But they're saying, the guy, he's always hurt. He's always hurt because he's not in shape. And just like Embiid, he doesn't get in shape. He doesn't have that kind of personal growth enough to be in shape. And maybe he doesn't because he outgrew Dallas. And now this is like a regeneration for him. He goes to L.A. Just like LeBron going to Miami.
And LeBron puts him on his workout regime. Maybe it makes him a better player.
So like the Lakers got the better of the deal. I mean, there's no question in my mind they got the better of the deal. Although they've been wanting a big man for so long, they traded away the only big man they had.
But why only talk to the Lakers if you're the Mavs? Because you're saying the Lakers got the better part of the deal.
Involved.
I just don't see how it benefits them. Oh, you get Luka in L.A. Is that great for them?
Yes, it is. You look at LA's history. They've always had a guy.
Yeah, but they're not going to be able to compete this year without a big man. Do you think just by Luka going there that they're competitors?
Dallas competed with Luka last year.
Maybe.
They got a guy named LeBron.
I just see. I know
he's not bad, is he?
No, he's not. They got Bronny too. Maybe he'll help carry him. I just don't think. I don't see them competing in the West.
All right, but a lot of people are saying, and we have a Giannis reaction to this too, and we'll let you hear that in a second. A lot of people are saying this is the most high-profile trade ever of a player.
In the middle of a season,
the deal itself. And I go, well, yeah, I could think of a couple. Like, wasn't Wilt Chamberlain traded? My God, Wilt Chamberlain was traded. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was traded. Like 4 years into his career in Milwaukee. He got traded to L.A.
Now, when they got traded, though, was that in the offseason? See,
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think
we're just talking about the magnitude of the trade.
Yeah, but I think
that's the highest profile guy to be traded.
But I think what a lot of people are saying though is qualifying it, saying in the middle of a season like this to make a trade like this. I don't know if I've ever seen it before.
Yeah, you might be right. Kareem, Barkley, there's big names that have been traded. How about the big name in hockey was traded? This is the most flabbergasting trade I ever heard.
Gretzky?
When Gretzky was traded.
Yeah, when he went from Edmonton to L.A. There's another L.A. one. But I don't know, man. In the middle of a season like this, when Shams tweets it out, the fact that he has to retweet and say this is real because people thought he was hacked, that tells you everything you need to know.
All right, 610-632-0975. And it's a shame the Sixers didn't have an Anthony Davis to trade for Luka, isn't it? You mean to tell me they didn't take Paul George?
Traded Joel straight up for him?
Podcast DNP couldn't have been moved in that deal?
Would you have traded Joel straight up for Luka?
In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
And Paul George.
Seriously.
Somebody just said, welcome by.
I mean, talk about a 25-year-old guy. All right, it's Mike Missanelli Show back after this.
The Birds Insider pregame show.
11:12, Mike Missanelli Show, Rally House, Willow Grove. Tomorrow we're doing the show, and we're getting right on an airplane.
Yeah, did we decide? Are we going to dip out a little early, or are we just going to chance it getting the Philadelphia International?
I don't know. We'll have to study the traffic patterns, and then Ray will have to 10 minutes left in the show. Ray will take us out.
Now, we're going to be leaving from Bala Cynwyd. Mm-hmm. Did you see last night? Maybe the first time ever.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Yes, first time ever.
I was watching it live last night. Sabrina Carpenter thanking her mom for taking her to her singing lessons in Bala Cynwyd.
Yes.
Now, who's the person that gave her the singing lesson? You think she could throw a shout out to the person?
Yeah, you're right.
She just said Bala Cynwyd. Who was the person?
But it's got to be the first time Bala Cynwyd's ever been mentioned on a national award show.
She's from Doylestown, so that's quite a hike to get the Bala from Doylestown. That's like schlepping a kid to travel leagues, right?
Yeah. I haven't had to do that yet, so my kids aren't in travel yet.
A lot of people still do that. But, we'll talk about the Grammys in a second. The outfits. You see Jenny from Around the Block?
Nah, I didn't see J-Lo.
Jenny from the Block came out, and she had this skirt on, but it had puffs that came out the hips, but it slanted down to the part where you can almost see the
private area,
the V area.
Hold on, I'm trying to find it here. This?
Now look how low that slopes down.
Interesting. I mean, it's not as bad as what Bianca, Kanye's wife, was wearing, but
she's a little. I'm Jennifer Lopez. I've had it with her. A little overexposed. She's still trying to be viable. Step back, girl.
She still looks good, though.
She looks great, but step back.
What is she? Has she done anything lately? I don't even know.
She's not. I think she's got an album out.
Does she? I haven't.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway,
she's 55. She's going to be 56.
How about my girl Nikki Glazer? Did you see her in the audience?
She got involved in one of the acts, too.
She's at the same table as Heidi Klum.
They ripped the clothes off of...
I don't know who that guy is. Am I stupid for not knowing who that guy is?
Yeah, Benson Boone.
But you know him?
Yeah, of course. He's got that song he played at the Grammys is great. It was one of the best hits of the year.
How come I've never heard it?
I don't know. Just like you don't think backwards hats are acceptable.
No, I don't listen to pop music.
You're out of touch.
I don't listen to pop. So who's this kid?
Now, Benson Boone, he's got that one good song.
And who was the piano player with the sequin tux on? Like the multicolored sequin tux. He was playing a piano accompanying somebody. Who did he accompany?
I don't know.
Did you see Janelle Monáe's performance of Michael Jackson?
I did see.
Oh, man.
But everything I saw was just highlights posted to social media. I did not watch it live.
Oh, I watched it live. I was all over it.
I went to bed.
I love those shows. You know me.
I went to bed about 9 o'clock last night.
Did you really?
It was like I got hit with a ton of bricks.
On? You went to bed at 9 o'clock?
Well, I'm trying to catch up on sleep. You get it when you can. For whatever reason, I went to bed at 9 o'clock, and
you missed the show. I tell you, that Grammy show, the work that must go into that, the rehearsals, the sets, the choreography, that's got to be all buttoned down, man.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal what they do.
A lot of impressive performances.
The Weeknd's performance was Kendrick Lamar. Ray, did you see it?
Of course, Ray saw.
Of course, I saw Kendrick Lamar win the night. He had the best night of anyone. Won 5 Grammys. Won as many Grammys as the guy he dissed.
Did you see the song that he did with The Weeknd?
Did a song with The Weeknd?
You didn't see that?
No.
Spectacular.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yes.
Did a song with The Weeknd.
The Weeknd, yeah. He came in halfway into the song.
All right. Well, I guess I tuned out there for a moment.
Pray for me. They did, right? Did they do Pray for Me?
I don't know. I'm trying to find it.
You didn't find it?
Did they perform last night, Ray?
I saw it. It's the Weeknd, Kendrick Lamar. Unless my eyes were goofy.
Yeah, I thought he was just winning Grammys last night. I didn't think he was performing at the Grammys.
Yeah, I don't know if he performed or not. I don't know.
Oh, I did. Somebody performed with him. I thought it was Kendrick Lamar because they did that song.
I don't know, but Kendrick Lamar, that's got to be the first diss track ever, right? That won a Grammy, Ray?
Won as many Grammys as the guy he's dissed in his entire career. Let's put it in proper context here.
Ray loves it.
He didn't just win. He took a victory lap time and time again.
I know.
Let's get back to the text board. What do we got on the patience conversation?
We got Mike in Turnsville saying that the Philly fan base has softened from what it once was. The Philly fan base allowed and encouraged the 76ers to tank, and the Philly market puts no pressure on Morey or Nick Nurse, and the Phillies were allowed to tear it down and take years to build it back up.
The fan base has softened, huh? You agree with that, Mike?
After the Super Bowl in 17, I thought they had softened up, but I think they came right back. They came roaring right back, man.
Yeah, they did. I'm still.
It helped. They went out. They got Harper, and so these Philadelphia teams did a lot of things to make the fan base feel good. They went for stuff.
Well, yeah,
except for the Flyers.
Yeah, the Flyers are and the Sixers, I guess, are going for stuff. It just hasn't worked.
The Sixers aren't going for anything.
Yeah, it just hasn't worked.
Sixers. I hate to say this because I really would like to interview them on the air. They've been mismanaged. And I would like to ask the key mismanager why.
Well,
he won't. He's. I've been told he'll be more open to that after the trading deadline.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I am. I'm looking forward to that. But look, we started the show talking about this patience concept because we're giving our flowers to everybody. Jeffrey Lurie, man, he deserves the flowers for being patient because if he would have listened, you said it's fine. The Eagles fans aren't overreacting. What he did by not overreacting a few years ago with Roseman, not overreacting this offseason with Nick Sirianni, that's why this Eagles franchise is one of the most successful in the entire National Football League. It comes from the top. We've seen bad owners, Mike. We have seen bad owners. Lurie is one of the best out there.
It's funny that you give him credit like this. Because I feel the opposite. I think he wanted to fire Nick Sirianni, and if he didn't, he would have jetted off to St. Martin hours after they lost.
He was buying a boat.
He was buying a boat.
He was.
He went to St. Martin to cool down, and then he came back, and they still let him hang for 2 weeks. And then they said, "Okay, you can have the job, but we're going to hire your coordinators." Now, what is that? Is that really believing in a guy, or is that saying? Yeah, we'll let it go for a little longer.
Listen, if he wanted to fire him, he would have fired him. He's the owner of the damn team.
You think he was close to firing him?
I don't think it was as close as people think it was.
Wow. All right.
I think it would have been a very bad look for the organization to move on from a guy a year after he brought you to a Super Bowl.
He lost 6-7, and they collapsed, and they were pulled apart like an old teddy bear.
How come no one's talking about firing Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco?
Why do you keep going to other cities?
Because I
don't care about other cities.
Because I
care about this city. We judge this city. I don't care what they do with Kyle Shanahan.
Because the point of the show was, I think our fan base tends to overreact.
We don't. We're the fourth largest market.
No
one's. You can't overreact as the fourth largest market.
30 teams.
You can overreact if you're in freaking Kansas City.
30 teams.
You're in Denver.
30 teams are not playing on Sunday. Are all 30 fan bases calling for heads to roll?
All 30 fan bases aren't as special as the fourth market, Philadelphia. Mike Missanelli.
Patience is a virtue.
All right, it's 11:26 on the Mike Missanelli Show. I've been corrected. It was not Kendrick Lamar. Ray should have known. Ray should have been watching it, telling me that I was wrong. But Ray checked out on it.
I saw The Weeknd pop up on stage. It's like, oh, cool.
The Weeknd was with
Playboy Cardi.
Playboy Cardi. You know Playboy Cardi?
Yeah, but not.
You do?
Not a huge.
You know he was married to Iggy Azalea.
Oh, was he?
Oh.
Why
not they're married? He's with her.
So
for a year. Oh, no, that lasted a year. Wasn't the Swaggy P with Iggy Azalea?
Yeah, that was the D'Angelo Russell situation.
That's right. The D'Angelo Russell situation. So Playboy Cardi came in. You know, Playboy Cardi's a fashion icon too. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't know any of this. I'm going to tell you what his stylistic motif is between the fashion gloss of the ASAP Mob, the punk rock attitude Lil Uzi Vert, and the playful camp of Lil Yachty.
Yep.
I'm sure you can find some gear here.
Yeah.
Some Playboy Cardi gear.
Potentially. I mean, they got everything else here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, a lot of people here are getting their Eagles gear.
Yeah. Yes, they are. All right, man, let's play. I love, first of all, I'm only playing this because I love to hear Giannis's accent. So Giannis commented on the trade and how he was happy for Luka. Here's what Giannis had to say.
Okay, let's say something funny because I took it, spoke very, very serious. Now that a European will be, I believe, the face of the Lakers, this is something new for Europe. It's never happened before. We had Pau Gasol, obviously. He was a great player, and how was Vujovic? That was yeah. Great guy, one of my close friends, but I mess up his name all the time. Now it's I just love it. You know what I want? I want Luka to the Lakers. I want Jokic to the Knicks. I want all the Europeans to go to all the big markets, to see something incredible. This is what I want. This is my dream.
Now, would you consider Milwaukee a big market? Is he talking about himself maybe leaving too?
Well, of course he is. He said that. That's the whole point of it. He underlined it, right?
Yeah.
Now, my big market. He's not a failure. I love his accent, man.
Yeah, it's the Greek accent. My kid, two oldest speak Greek.
Yeah, do they have that accent? Or they speak English?
No, they have two first languages. But I saw some people on Twitter trying to give the equivalent of what this trade was if it was in the NFL. Because not everybody follows the NBA. NFL is king. And I saw Adam Schefter tweet out, this is the equivalent of Lamar Jackson being traded for Joe Burrow in the middle of the season. But I actually think that may be nothing against Anthony Davis. I think that's giving Anthony Davis too much credit.
Well, it is. Anthony Davis is still a very good player, but he's 31. So that's not a good parallel.
No.
That's, youth for youth, star youth for star youth.
Yeah.
This is star youth who may have some warts that we don't know about, although it's been alluded by various people, but my man likes to pound it. And in fact, if you harken back to that that playoff game where they had the camera outside his locker room and he's talking with somebody and he's banging a beer down.
Yeah.
And the assistant coach grabs him, pulls him in. Yeah, that's not a good look, man.
No. No, and the whole thing is weird, though, because the general manager not even letting Jason Kidd, the head coach, know that you're about to trade away.
BS, by the way.
You think Kidd knew?
Yeah.
Did you watch the press conference?
Listen, here's the thing. If you're protecting Kidd from that whole thing. So if you don't tell him, you're protecting him. If you're telling him, you're giving him a chance to balk, or you're putting him out there by saying, yeah, he did know about it, and so he's now gets the blame for bailing out on Luka. So you create a story that they didn't tell him.
So you think he knew? Now, what about?
I don't think you're saying it.
What about LeBron? You think LeBron knew?
LeBron may not have known because LeBron would have fought it. LeBron is powerful in the whole league, right? If you let LeBron know, you're risking that he blanches at it and he says, no, you can't do that, and he makes a public. You go, so you do that under LeBron's carpet.
I got you.
But the other way, like Jason Kidd, you have nothing to gain by saying he knew about it.
Yeah, you're right.
So you create a story and say, well, I didn't know about it, because that takes him off the hook.
So, bold move by the Dallas general manager. Now, I'm going to bring this full circle back to the Eagles for a second.
Former Nike executive, by the way.
Was he?
Yeah.
So, bold move by him. Now, I threw out earlier in the show, and I actually did the show on Saturday with the premise of that I think Howie Roseman's the greatest GM in all of sports, okay? Someone texted in that Mike Missanelli just spit out his coffee. But the reason why I say that, and this is coming full circle, sometimes you wonder where my brain goes, but we're talking about general manager. He's the only general manager, talking about Howie Roseman, in the salary cap era, which changes everything with free agency and salary cap, to get to 3 Super Bowls with the same franchise and do it with both a different quarterback and a different head coach. Now, knowing what we know about the NFL, with how important the quarterback position is, the fact that with the salary cap era, he's been to 3 Super Bowls with the same franchise and has done it with 2 different quarterbacks, 2 different head coaches, no one's ever done that before. Like in baseball, I know Dombrowski's had a lot of success. You could just spend, man. You could just spend. All right, you got to pay the luxury tax, whatever. You could just spend and sign whoever the hell you want. The fact that Roseman's been able to do this in a salary cap era, he's the greatest general manager in all of sports. I'm convinced of it. Can you make a case for anybody else? Because I can't.
Well, listen, I'm not going to sort of go down a list and say who's better. I will say this, that being a good general manager or being a good coach is cyclical. It's just cyclical, especially general managership, not the coach as much, but general managership. When you've had bad years, you can't say you're the greatest general manager ever. You've hit. You're on a hot streak right now. You're at the blackjack table and you won 6 hands in a row. But it could very easily turn on you because it's an exact science.
So now you're making the point that I made to start the show of why you have to be more patient. This is the exact reason why Lori's such a great owner.
You're asking irrational fans to be more patient. You're not giving any credit to the fact that we're all rational.
Well, we should.
When we look at this, we react to various stimulus. We go, we're a big market. We should be good. Big markets should be good. Big markets spend. Big markets have great facilities. They have great fan support. They should be good. And when they're not good, we react to that. And you're saying that that's unfair, that we react to it.
Not that we react. I think people are allowed to be frustrated. I just think that we need to practice the patience that the owner is practicing because,
Bill,
look,
what good would it do if we practice patience as a fan? What good? What's the greater good? It makes it easier for the guys that are supposed to do the damn job in the first place?
No, it's just the overreaction of, look, the backup quarterback's always everybody's favorite quarterback.
No, not anymore.
No, but that's
an old adage.
Yes, the old cliche.
Nobody says that anymore here. The only thing we say is when you underachieve, we don't like it.
Wait a second. Nobody says that anymore?
After the backup quarterback?
After Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee did what they did, we got calls that they would run the offense better.
3 idiots? You're going to react to 3 idiots.
But idiots nonetheless. They're here. They are here. Look, Jeffrey Lurie deserves a lot of credit for where this organization is. And we've seen how bad owners in the NFL have hurt their teams. Look at the Jets, man. It doesn't matter what they do. Doesn't matter who they bring. Because you just said we're a big city. New York's a bigger city than Philadelphia.
We could be this or we could be that. Look at this team. We're not that team. We're this team.
You're making a point that we can't be patient because we're a major city. Well, New York is a major city.
But, Bill, I don't care about New York. Like, you keep going to these cities that we don't care about. It doesn't matter what they do. I don't care. I care what this city does.
And this city needs to not knee-jerk every time there's a little bump in the road. That's my point. You have to have patience, and that's the reason why we're here.
You wear that hat not backwards, but over your face there. 610-632-0975. We'll get to the calls after this.
It's time for Birds Playoff Conversation.
Hey, Tay, you're dead to us if you pick the Chiefs. Sorry. There's too many pictures of you wearing Eagles.
All right, it is 11:40 here at Rally House in Willow Grove. Stop by. They got great fresh Eagle merch with the Super Bowl logo on it. Sometimes you got the NFC Championships there, I see, which is really risky to buy. If the Eagles win NFC Champions, all right, it's good. But then it's like lesser than if they win. And if they lose, it's like...
Yeah, but I guess there are collectors who just like to collect all the merchandise. They have the conference championships, the Super Bowl championships.
Very risky purchase.
Yeah,
like if you buy Super Bowl licks shirt,
I'm going to show
Super
YouTube.
Bowl licks because it's not saying who won.
I'm excited for this. I
What
just
is
got
that? The lime green.
It's a quarter zip, kind of an interesting green with the throwback logo. That's what I got.
You wear that on the golf course?
I just got it. I may wear it on the golf course, but
I know you just got it. I'm just saying, what were you planning to wear?
I thought you said did in past tense.
No.
I may wear it on the plane to New Orleans tomorrow.
Oh.
Let people know where we represent.
Let people know.
As we fly through Atlanta.
Okay. All right, let's get to the phones. First time all day, we got Ish in Levittown checking in. What is up, Ish? How you doing?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
What's happening?
Hey. I'm excited about the Super Bowl. And I kind of agree with what you're saying about us. I guess it was about turning our back on the team or about the general manager and the coach.
Yeah, it's cyclical. Sometimes they hit a hot streak, sometimes they don't. But when they don't hit a hot streak, like Bill's saying, well, they're hitting a hot streak, so we need to be patient. No. No, we don't have any patience for that. You got to make the right picks to help the team.
Yeah, I feel like it's like having feelings. Like, you know, if you have certain feelings and if it's hot or cold, we're going to go with what's what and, like, what's new. So, Bill, I'm sorry. I have to disagree with you on that. That's the first time I
know. You're pretty much a Bill guy.
Yeah, well,
which I'm totally okay with.
My point, though, is if Jeffrey Lurie had the same mentality that sometimes we have as fans, Roseman wouldn't be your general manager and Nick Sirianni wouldn't be your head coach, and you're probably not going to New Orleans on Sunday for the Super Bowl. That was my point, is I think the owner has been very patient and blocked the outside noise at times, which I give him a lot of credit for.
Well, yeah, he's an owner, so he really don't have to listen to the noise. It goes down to Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni. But what I will give Jeffrey Lurie credit on is the Chip Kelly move. I think, you know, that's when he actually made his move and put his imprint on the team because that's when the emotionally intelligence came in. So, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, but hold on. So the fact that he hired him in the first place, and then he gave the whole store to him, like, what are we supposed to be patient with that? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they make mistakes, and when they make mistakes, they should be called out on it.
Yeah, but Mike, if you remember during those times, Jeffrey Lurie actually went to the players and, like, he went to his locker room and he felt like the energy.
Yeah, after the fact, But before, like he invested a lot in Chip Kelly to the point where 1 year in, he gave him the general manager job and he banished Howie. We're supposed to forget about that?
Yeah, you're right. My bad. I'm sorry about that.
No, you know, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm not blaming him, but like they have their hot and cold moments. They have their misjudgments. So when we were floundering under Chip Kelly, until he said, okay, no, I've had enough, that we were criticizing him.
Do you agree, though, that he did make the right call, though, and firing him, and that he actually had to come down from his
obviously made the right call. I mean, nobody was supporting Chip Kelly by the end, even though he had a couple of 10-win seasons.
Well,
I think we forget that. He wasn't a total disaster.
Yeah, do you give him credit for coming down out of his office and seeing what was going wrong with the team? And
yes, I give him credit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I say. Look, I give credit when credit is due. I also give criticism when criticism is due. And I don't feel like we need to be this let's be patient with everybody type of thing. This is not a patience business. This is like get it done business.
I agree with you. But when they've had success in such recent timetable to when we're overreacting is my point. Like with Sirianni, he went to the Super Bowl the year before we wanted him gone. With Roseman, he had some success and then people wanted him gone. I just think that you have to understand you're not going to be in the Super Bowl every season. That's why, to bring it now full circle to this game on Sunday, I think it's so important that they win this game. because there is no guarantee that they're back next year. We saw how the Super Bowl hangover year went last year. They have to win it. This is a great opportunity. They're the better team. I don't care about Reed. I don't care about Mahomes. As great as they are, the Eagles have the better team. This may be their best chance in the next few years.
Let me ask you this. You think in other cities, fans don't have the same impatience?
I don't know. I don't know if it's to the level of what it is here at times. I don't know if fans are as impatient as we are as a fan base. And again, I go back to the fact that we've never had that dynasty. So I understand it. I mean, I sometimes lack patience as well because we've had 2 championships in 40-something years. I've seen 2. One Philadelphia Phillies World Series, 1 Eagles Super Bowl. That's it. So I understand that lack of patience, whereas maybe other fan bases like Boston, who had the Patriots, who had the Celtics, who had the Bruins, even Chicago, where the Cubs struggled all those years winning the World Series, they had the Bulls.
Do you think they're impatient in Chicago right now, football team-wise?
Maybe.
Yeah, of course they are.
Maybe
it's another big city. Now, in L.A.,
but look at the lack of success they've had.
The sun shines in L.A. It's like there are things that divert you away from really being invested and angry about your sports teams. But in Chicago, where it's freezing, in Miami, they go, there's a bunch of transients down there. Obviously, you could pick cities that aren't as engaged as we are. But I guarantee you in Boston they are. I guarantee you in New York they are. I guarantee you in Chicago they are. And even Washington, the impatience that went on down there. With that owner. They wanted that owner bounced how many times?
Yeah, he was a terrible owner, though. I mean, that was a mess down there. It's Josh Harris comes in year 1, fixes everything.
Yeah, there you go. Was he there? He was there last night. Oh, no. It looked like him. His wife was there. I don't know if it was him next. It looked like his brother or something. Or maybe it was just Josh with glasses on.
You're talking about the Sixers game?
The Sixers game last night. You think he's impatient now?
Josh Harris?
No, he's not impatient because he had a great football season, and he sits there, with a big smile on his face, like it's a big entertainment night for him. Well, meanwhile, the fiddle and the fire.
It was a frustrating game to watch last night. I thought they were going to upset Boston.
That's just shit. Listen, I love Maxey too, but they hunted his ass last night defensively.
Well, once they turned it on.
And even, Porzingis gave up 2 opportunities when he had him play on a switch.
Yeah, once they turned it on. And, the fact that they were just all right, Ricky Council, you want to try to shoot a 15-footer? Go ahead.
Ricky Council, people keep telling me, Ricky Council, because they'll see occasionally he'll charge down and dunk, right? And I go, the guy runs around like a crazy man. He has no ability to play the game. He's just a crazy runner.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways, he was like Paul Reed. Paul Reed. They don't know how to play the game. 610-632-0975 is how you climb in to the Mike Missanelli Show. It's on 97.5 The Fanatic, and we are live today at Rally House in Willow Grove. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Arriving in New Orleans, I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. Want expert tax prep? Jackson Hewitt will give you $100 to switch. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com. The Eagles arrived in New Orleans yesterday as they kick off the week leading up to Super Bowl Sunday. The media marathon began with send-off yesterday, continues with the media opening night tonight at 8 o'clock. We spoke with Super Bowl 52 champion Torrey Smith last week, who remembered how annoying the process was and how it bothered a notable teammate of his.
You kind of just know that's just the schedule you're on. That it's just what comes with the territory. I remember Alshon being highly upset and bored at the process when we were going through it, and it does get on your nerves.
We'll let you know if anything pops up with the Birds over the next couple of days. Of course, keep you updated with everything going on from New Orleans, including talking with ESPN's Tim McManus, who's down there, coming up at 12:25. Winter teams had a brutal weekend in the city. The undermanned Sixers opened the weekend blowing a game to the Nuggets and closed about blowing a game to the Celtics. Meanwhile, Flyers haven't scored a goal in a week and lost in Colorado yesterday. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
11:54. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. We're live at Rally House. People getting geeked, man. This young fella came back. He had an Eagle shirt, and what else?
They were giving away Penn State stuff. I think.
Penn State pennant.
No, I'm kidding.
They hang on the wall to pennant.
They got a lot of good stuff. Yeah, you're right. They got Penn State. Even if you want to, while you're here, get your Eagle stuff, load up with your Phillies gear too before the season starts.
They got one Gettysburg shirt I saw in the back.
I don't think they do. They got my jersey hanging, maybe. That's what we should do. We should get Bill Colarulo Gettysburg College jersey.
Colorongo on the back.
Colorongo.
Oh, that's pretty good. See, I got a symbol out of Ray.
Oh,
you know it was good.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the text board. Grandma Ellie checked in today, by the way.
Oh, did she?
Grandma Ellie gave her prediction. Grandma Ellie, is she feeling better, by the way, Bill?
Nah, not really.
Okay. She gave her prediction, 31-28 Eagles.
Oh, she thinks it's going to be a close one.
She checked in, yes.
Now, for them to get 31, Elliott's going to have to come through with a few field goals, right?
Grandma Elliott?
Grandma Elliott. There you go.
How about a symbol? No symbol for that one?
Right?
Huh? No rim shot for that, right?
Oh.
Man. Tough crowd out there.
It's hard. It's hard not being able to see Ray because Ray's back at the studio.
He's busy. Let's go to the text board, Ray. What do you got? Anything of significance?
John and Conchi, if the fans did not crush Howie Roseman for passing on Justin Jefferson and being a below average at the draft, I think that made Howie self-evaluate and have the incredible run of picks that he's had.
I don't know how you have an incredible run of picks. I think a lot of it's luck, because if it was science, they would get the right picks every year. So you just, you grab a guy, you hope he develops, you hope he's got that, what's inside. Like, they try to gauge all that before they select a guy. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it works.
The draft blows my mind that there are so many people, staff, with every single team, that sole job is to evaluate talent, and how often they miss at the quarterback position. Like, how many quarterbacks get taken in the first round that don't pan out?
I think that people take quarterbacks because they're desperate.
They reach. They definitely reach.
They vet it. But other positions, they're supposed to vet. They're supposed to know exactly, and they don't know. It's an inexact science.
But that's why with Howie, one of the biggest mistakes he made in his entire career at general manager was taking Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. Yeah. But if you look at who was the second pick in that same draft back in 2020.
It was Jalen Hurts.
It was Jalen Hurts.
Again,
so you could forgive him for everything else.
This is where I talk about them getting lucky. Did they draft him? They think he was going to be a starter? The notion was that they needed a backup. They were a quarterback factory the whole bit. By misfortune of the other guy, he became a starter. And that was also a year where the Dallas may have been willing to trade with you that pick, and you could have packaged it and got CeeDee Lamb and moved up that year.
But in hindsight now, it was the perfect move.
Well, again, but you go with hindsight.
Yeah, but
you're saying that's patient. Sometimes it's just luck.
But you're saying that they drafted him to be the backup.
They did.
Well,
they didn't
why?
draft him to be a starter.
But why do you draft a quarterback to be a backup?
Because they didn't have a backup, and it killed them in the playoffs.
But in case what happens?
Somebody gets hurt. The starter gets hurt.
Or the starting quarterback doesn't pan out. Like, you got to give him credit for it.
Did they really anticipate that with Jalen Hurts, or was it just good fortune?
Now, I always thought that he was just drafted solely to be a backup, right? That's what I always thought.
Uh-huh.
It was about 2 years ago, they released the interview that Jalen Hurts did at the draft in his interview process with Doug Peterson and the Philadelphia Eagles. And when you listen to Jalen Hurts' interview at the draft, it's hard to believe that they thought he was coming in here just to be a career backup. Because the way he talked about how he was able to submit himself into two big organizations like Alabama and then Oklahoma, and how he's a leader and all those things. They had to know that when he came in here, that guys were going to gravitate behind him, and that's what happened.
What was he supposed to say?
But what I'm saying is when you had a guy like Jalen, it didn't sound like he was going to be someone who was going to be okay as a backup. Because once you brought him in,
him or according to them.
In their evaluation, I'm saying. In their evaluation, you had to realize that he was going to connect more with a lot of these players than Carson Wentz did.
All right. By the way, you are listening to the Mike Missanelli Show on WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. It is noon in the Delaware Valley, everybody. And when noon rolls around, we do a little something here we like to call the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Rayfield Dunn back at the studio. Was it Raymond Dunn?
Yeah, that would be it. Raymond Dunn.
I think Rayfield's cooler.
I'm going to stick with Raymond.
I like Rayfield too.
Rayfield Dunn. That's good. And then he could have been called Fields Dunn.
Leave that to Yates.
All right, what do we got, Ray? What do we got?
All right, today's news at noon, Ray. What do you have?
All right, we're just going to continue to compile all of the NFL players that are rooting against the Chiefs. We had Deebo Samuel last week, Jamar Chase at what they call the Pro Bowl, what is a farce to football. Interviewed this week by ESPN, and he's also going for the Birds.
Everyone knows I'm not a KC fan, so I'm hoping Saquon rushes for like 200 this game. So I think overall it'll be a great game just because both sides has great players on each side.
Didn't say he's not watching, but clearly not a Chiefs fan.
Well, yeah, how could he be in Cincinnati?
It's just funny to see all these guys turn against
on my side. Did you watch the Pro Bowl, by the way?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. It's a tough watch, man.
Oh, I think it's great.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, I watched almost every second of it.
Oh, stop.
I did.
You watch every second of it?
Well, I watched Villanova lose a part of the time, but
it was the Pro Bowl was a tough watch, man. For me, it was tough. Look, I get what they're trying to do, but it's just turned into such a joke.
I like the skills competition. I like the fact that they had camaraderie. Like they had the punt competition where the punter actually was important in the contest. So he was trying to punt balls into big trash cans. You didn't see that?
No, I didn't.
That got really exciting. Came down to the end. They went overtime with a kickoff.
Can't believe it.
Yeah?
It was riveting.
And the punters were, for the first time ever, celebrated by their Pro Bowl teammates because they wanted the AFC got one.
Hold on. You're a guy who doesn't even respect kickers, but now you're tuned in on the edge of your seat with a punt competition?
Because I like it like it's a contest. It's like that's the only time I like punters because they're not part of a team, and that's not football what they're doing. So it goes right in line. Everybody else is showing off their skills. You might as well show off your skill punting the football.
I tried to watch, man. I turned it off.
Very exciting. What do you got next?
All right. The rest of the news at noon is dedicated to what was an insane trade in the NBA over the weekend. We've covered quite a bit here with the Luka AD trade, but just collecting audio from the reaction from the Mavericks general manager, Nico Harrison, having to explain himself. I want to start, though, 2 weeks ago. He was interviewed by Slovenian television about Luka Doncic, and take a listen to how glowing he speaks of the face of his franchise, who he would trade away just 2 weeks later.
To the value that he brings to the franchise, to the NBA, to this organization, it's immeasurable.
Would you say that Luka changed the club for the better?
Absolutely. I mean, you look at what he's done to this team. I mean, he's such a dynamic player. He makes everybody around him better. His marketability, like people from all over the world come to watch him play because of what he means to the NBA and the basketball.
Do you think you have a really, really hard job because you have to make Luka Doncic the NBA champion? Or is that an honor for you, like in your career, that you will be able to help Luka to become a champion?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think it's a tough job, but it's an honor because I feel like we're going to be champions, and it will be because of Luka. So I'll be honored to deliver that championship.
Psych.
Not quite.
I love that Slovenian television prober there.
Yeah.
That was yeah. Little accent going.
Maybe they gave Luka a better chance by shipping him to L.A.
Yeah, well, that's called don't tell the real story because we're working on trading.
Yeah, and he admitted it's been going on for a few weeks, the conversation. So.
Yes, he did. Here's him saying.
There's no question in my mind that there would be a story coming out in the next couple of days about what they were afraid of.
With Luka.
And I think they were afraid of his lifestyle.
The only reason
in fact, he just never showed any interest in getting in tip-top shape.
Maybe you're right, but then that looks bad for L.A., right?
No, because they can make the case that, yeah, he's here now and he's got a new lease on life. And he's got LeBron. Easier for L.A. to explain it than Dallas. All right, what's up next?
All right, let's go to that. He only negotiated with the Lakers. I love him trying to explain himself to the media in a pregame availability. Let's take a listen to the negotiations and how they went from that press conference.
Did you have other discussions with any other teams besides the Lakers about this deal?
No, and I'd like to give Rob Pelinka a lot of credit. You know, trades, you guys have been around here, trades don't happen at the smallest level without stuff getting out. And Rob and I were able to have, you know, really intense conversations over the course of, 3 or 4 weeks that started out as a coffee that, was more, hey, would you ever, I don't know, would I? Let me think of, and then it built upon that. And, we kept it between us. We had to keep it tight. J. Kidd didn't know about it.
Yeah, I call BS on that. But here's the question, and he doesn't answer it, really. Why would you not explore the best deal? The only reason you wouldn't do that is because you would be afraid that it gets out, and then that makes it really uncomfortable. But you have to build your team. Like, did you get enough from the Lakers? Like, suppose you call Minnesota Timberwolves and say, we're willing to trade you Luka straight up for Anthony Edwards. You call Denver. By the way, we will trade you Luka for the Joker. And you could go around the league and find the best players ever that you could have got maybe a better value than a 31-year-old Anthony Davis. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's like general manager malpractice not call around.
General manager malpractice may be influenced by the all-powerful Adam Silver.
Yeah, you got this conspiracy.
Well, what else could it be? Well, seriously, why would you just, with one team, Anthony Davis was that coveted a player that you would only talk to the Lakers?
The only thing I can think of is he had a big fear that if they started to shop Luka and they were unable to get a deal done, now Luka demands to get out, and maybe you're not able to get even an Anthony Davis back. I mean, I don't believe that. I think Luka would have still brought back a high return, but that could be the only thing. He was scared that if it got out, the more teams involved, it gets out, you're shopping Luka, that maybe it turns around where he demands out and now the value drops.
The way you can frame it is that these people contacted me, and this was an offer we couldn't refuse. It was somebody else. Like, there's so many other players that you could have justified this for. If you're looking for a star trade, because you don't want to either pay Luka in 2 years or you got this personal life question, whatever it is, you could do better than what they did.
Yeah, the whole situation's weird.
Now they got 3 centers, Dallas. So from that standpoint, that doesn't even make sense. All right, what's next?
All right, 2 quick ones for you. First up, we'll continue with Nico Harrison. His conversation with Patrick Dumont, their owner, and basically he was laughed in his face when he gave the suggestion of trading Luka Doncic.
The first time he laughed at me. No, I mean, Patrick, he's the owner. Obviously, he's the ultimate decision maker, but he entrusts in J. Kidd and I to lead this team, and he's putting the trust into us. And then, obviously, you got to get judged on the performance that you've done as a leader. And at some point, if it doesn't work out, then I'll be judged for that.
Well, he's going to be judged. Yeah, maybe it works out for him. Maybe Anthony Davis leads them to a championship. Man, Luka led him to the NBA Finals last year. So the only thing you could do better is you win the whole thing.
Last one here for you. Brian Windhorst on SportsCenter after the trade. An all-star in the NBA texted him.
If I had an all-star, current NBA all-star text me and say, do you know how much the Mavericks must hate Luka? I mean, this is what they're talking about in the league.
And it must go to, they must hate him for a number of reasons. He's maddening. He's such a star, but he's so maddening because he has to have the ball in his hands constantly, at least like 15 seconds before he makes a decision on what he's going to do, and that usually results in a really long three-pointer. He's a dynamic player who can carry you offensively. He doesn't play a lick of defense, and he always looks heavy.
But when they say Dallas must hate him, Luka just lost $117 million because he cannot sign that Supermax deal anymore. Yeah. So it's going to be $117 million less. I'd be pissed if I was Luka.
I think the Lakers will take care of him down the line. 610-632-0975. Tim McManus is coming up in about 15 minutes with his Eagle report. I guess Timmy's there. Is he in New Orleans?
I think he is.
Timmy's got to be in New Orleans. He's on the scene, and we'll talk to him after this.
Tyrone John.
All right, 12:13 on the Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. Oh, I'm out. I'm plugged out.
You almost tripped on it when you got up.
I did? Okay. All right, hold on a second. Let me just plug back in. I'm like a guitar player. There we go. Plug back in, get the roadie out here. Speaking of roadies, when they're setting up the Grammys last night, two special performances, other than Janelle Monáe, who did a little Michael Jackson thing. There was a duet with Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars.
Oh, with their song?
California Dreamin'. They did the California Dreamin' song.
By the Mamas and the Papas?
Is that Mamas and the Papas, recreated years later by Jose Feliciano.
Yeah. Didn't know that.
But Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars were fantastic.
Yeah,
and then they did a tribute to Frank, a little bit of a tribute. I forget the lady who sang, "Fly me to the moon." Let me sing. You know?
I know the jam.
All right. Tim McManus is coming up in a bit. Let's go back to the phones. Let's talk to T-Love, hanging in there for a long time. T-Love, thanks for hanging, buddy.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
How are you?
Hey, listen, man. As far as the Grammys go, man, I'm not really into the Grammys, but it was great to hear somebody repping somebody from this part of town. You know what I mean? The Bala Kenwood thing, I heard it too. That
Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah, that was. I don't know her music, but that was.
And she, I thought I heard her say, and right down the street in Bala is 97.5 The Fanatic, where the Mike Missanelli show rules.
I think she did say that.
She said she slipped that in. It was a play. They were playing the music as she was walking over. I heard her slip it in.
She didn't drop a Go Birds though, did she?
No, but no Go Birds.
I must have went to the bathroom when that part came out.
Yeah, you probably were in the bathroom. I heard it. You know.
Listen, yeah, for the young people out there, you know, you really don't need a music teacher, but you got to be able to sing. But great that was brought up, and you got to know somebody. So take it from me. The Lyricos, Norman Brayman. Gosh, for the latter part, Mr. Snyder. You know, the football guys sent Jeffrey Lurie here to revamp and rescue this franchise from oblivion. You understand? And I'm happy to have this guy here. And if you're older than, if you were at least 15 years old 25 years ago, then you know what I'm talking about. Okay. As far as Howie Roseman, he's been up and down, but for the most part, he's been good. I hated the guy. No lie. But I have to say, you know, in all fairness, this guy knows what he's doing. I've come to that conclusion. I mean, but I'm not going to tell you I was in love with the guy. Same thing with Santa Claus over there in Kansas. You know what I mean? He was not a great football coach here. He was a good football coach. He was not great. He wasn't great until he got the guy to make him great. Now he's that guy. He is that guy.
He evolved. He evolved to another level. I'll give him credit for that.
Hey, before you hang up, I got to bring up my Luka thing, man. I'm listening to the guys on the national media, and oh, my God. Luka, the way they talk about Luka, it sounds like Joel Embiid. He's overweight. He doesn't take the game seriously. He's a great player. He's a great talent. He's a generational guy, but he is not in a basketball mind. He doesn't keep.
Yeah, well, they explained to me how they got to the finals last year.
Well, hey, listen. How did the Sixers get to where they got to the finals? Because they have Kyrie Irving. And they have
Nah. Come on, man. Come on. T-Love, you got to go. You got to go by saying something like that. He carried him a large part, except in the Boston series where he was just wrung out, and maybe because he wasn't in shape enough. I don't know what it is, but please let's not diminish the fact that he got that team. Did you expect the Dallas Mavericks to play in the NBA Finals?
No, Luka got him there, but he was exposed, especially defensively in that final.
Yeah,
series.
There's no question about it. You know, you're talking about a young guy now who's not in shape. Now, Embiid has been through the wars. He's pretty much, you know, it's never going to get any better for him. We've seen the best of him. Luke is 25 years old. If you don't know the value of keeping yourself in shape at age 25, what are you going to be at age 27? You're going to look like Embiid? That's probably what they're afraid of. That the guy, you know, he's got other priorities that prevent him from getting in top shape. Because he looks at himself and he goes, "What are you talking about, man? I took you to the NBA Finals last year.
Yeah,
what are you talking about my shape? Give me another beer."
Oh,
that's what he's doing.
That's where a guy like LeBron can help, though, because he's not going to go in and try to big-time LeBron, and LeBron says to him, "Look, I'm the greatest ever, and this is how hard I work."
Yeah, that's what they said when Sean Bradley was here, when Pat Croce was Mr. Health Guru.
Oh, man.
Bill, you got to call Luka. Hey, instead of that third beer, Get a Kind bar and a protein shake. Get on the Bill diet.
You may be on to something.
Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Arriving in New Orleans, I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Corona. Join 97.5 The Fanatic this Sunday at Patty Wax on South Street starting at 2 p.m. for the big game pregame show and watch party with Andrew and Connor. Enjoy $5 Coronas, $5 Modelo drafts, and exclusive prizes. Don't miss out. Details at 975thefanatic.com. Please drink responsibly. Eagles arrived in New Orleans yesterday as they kick off the week leading up to Super Bowl Sunday. Media Marathon begins with the send-off yesterday and continues with the media opening night tonight at 8 o'clock. We spoke with Super Bowl 52 champion Torrey Smith last week, who remembered how annoying the process was and how it bothered a notable teammate of his.
You kind of just know that's just the schedule you're on. That it's just what comes with the territory. I remember Alciunas being highly upset and bored at the process when we were going through it, and it does get on your nerves.
We'll see if it bothers any of the current birds as they lead up to Super Bowl 59 against the Chiefs. We'll keep you updated with everything going on down in New Orleans, including ESPN's Tim McManus joining us coming up in the next segment. Two winter teams in town at a brutal weekend. Our man 76ers opened the weekend losing the game, and the Nuggets closed it by losing a game to the Celtics. Meanwhile, the Flyers haven't scored a goal in a week and lost in Colorado yesterday. This update's also brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
right, it's 12:25. The Mike Missanelli Show, and the Eagles are gone. They had a nice send-off party. You see that? A lot of people came out.
I did see that.
Send-off party.
There was a ton of people there.
They had the similar send-off party for our next guest, as because he's the man who actually covers them.
I did hear there was a ton of people.
Yeah, go Timmy, bring home a Super Bowl, Tim. Right before you got on the plane. On the tarmac, this was. And we welcome him in right now. He, of course, covers the Eagles for ESPN.com. He's on the Comcast Business Hotline. His name is Tim McManus. Timmy!
What's up, Mike? It's tough getting through those crowds on those kind of situations, you know? Just
wait, hold on a second. There's A.J. Brown. Well, wait, is that McManus? Let's go.
Oh, man.
Here we go.
I know. So many fans, so little time.
Tim, you're living a dream.
Yes.
All right, so Tim, have you landed in the Big Easy?
Yeah, I landed yesterday afternoon, right around the time that the Eagles did, actually. Got here around 3:30, so I've had boots on the ground. I went this morning, took a nice 20-minute walk over to the convention center, picked up my media credentials, got to check out the town, had a little Nina Simone going in the headphones to set the vibe, and you know, we're just living the dream over here.
Oh, very nice, Tim. All right, so what's the schedule now with as far as you guys covering practices and such? Where will they practice? What kind of media availability will they be giving you this week?
Yeah, so we have a media night tonight. So that's the first sort of big kickoff. It's always just sort of a total mess over there with media from all over the place. It's a show, but that runs tonight, starting at around 7 o'clock. The Eagles go first, and then the Chiefs. And then the Eagles will kick off into their practice schedule, and we get some media availability every day. So we'll be going over to the team hotel tomorrow morning, and we have availability really through Friday. So they start getting into their practice mindset, and we get to talk to them. So it's going to be plenty coming from this end.
Will you actually be able to watch practices?
No, they do like one pool reporter per team, and then that person distributes what he or she saw from practice. That's kind of the way it's been the last ever since I've been covering the Super Bowls anyway.
All right, so you've been with the team for a while. Last week, obviously going through some practices and things like that. How would you describe their mindset right now?
I would say determined for sure. This is, and Jordan Mailata said this right after the NFC Championship game, that essentially, they continue to carry that chip on their shoulder from the Super Bowl loss. That's 2 years worth of carrying that weight. I think it got the better of them, honestly, last year when they were coming off of the loss to the Chiefs, where it just kind of consumed their entire season and changed their attitudes, where everything just felt really heavy. But they have since been able to sort of change that and keep sort of the resolve, but also find joy. And I think some of that has been, Nick Sirianni at the head and establishing that, making sure that they're celebrating sort of along the way and the smaller victories as they build up to what has been the goal for 2 years now. And so it seems like a very determined group, one that just sort of talks about the opponent as, and I've heard multiple players say this now, like they're just the next team in the way to what we want to accomplish. And so that's really the mindset that's taken hold of this team really throughout most of the season.
Tim, there are a lot of Eagle fans that are very optimistic about this. Usually, people are scared. But I think most fans are confident that this team is going to deliver in that Super Bowl. So let's X and O it a little bit. What did the Eagles have to do to Mahomes? And conversely, what do you think Spagnuolo tries to do against this Eagle running offense?
Yeah, so, Spagnuolo versus Hurts is sort of a major one for me here. He dials up a lot of blitzes that are unpredictable. It could come from anywhere at any time. And as we know, Hurts has taken over the majority of the pass protection since Jason Kelce retired. And I think he's pretty well thrived at that. He's one of the better quarterbacks against the blitz this season, but this is the biggest test that he's going to face. Spagnuolo is just awesome at dialing it up. And so that's sort of the chess match that's going to be very much worth watching. As we know, the passing game hasn't always been called into like prolific duty for much of this season. We've seen it in spurts, and Hurts, like against the Commanders, rose to the occasion, but this is going to be a different type of defense that he's going to be facing against a defensive coordinator that's proven as good as there is in modern-day football. So that's the one. As far as Patrick Mahomes, I went back and I watched the AFC title game, and one thing that he did really well was just kind of being always on the move to alleviate whatever sort of inefficiencies they have up front. And so he's just tough to get to, and mix that with what they were doing was like a quick RPO game where he was getting the ball out of his hands very fast to neutralize the pass rush. And we've also seen Mahomes, like in this postseason, he has 2 throwing touchdowns. He also has 2 rushing touchdowns. So he's been utilizing his legs to put pressure on the defense. So that's a long way of saying you're going up against the current, greatest quarterback on. And part of what makes him so hard to contain is that he can get on the outside and he can manipulate your defense that way. So I think that guys like Nolan Smith are going to come in to play big time here, making sure they're setting the discipline so that Mahomes can't escape and get those extra first downs and those like longer games where he likes to toe along the sideline and just beg you to hit him so you can get an extra 15 yards. Like they need to make sure that they have a disciplined rush so that they can limit, obviously, the damage that Mahomes can do.
All right, Tim, I'm going to talk about Mike's favorite topic because he mentioned that a lot of the fans are optimistic, but one thing they're not optimistic about is the referees headed into this game because it appears that the Chiefs always seem to get the calls from the refs. Now, what's your take on that whole situation?
So my wife actually references this all the time when one of my kids complains about the referees in their respective sports. And she always goes back to Super Bowl 57 and what Jalen Hurts said at the podium afterwards as kind of like a life lesson to the kids. It's like I want to put my team in a position where that kind of stuff doesn't come into play, where I'm controlling it and there's not outside factors that are controlling it. That's the answer. Like, there's conspiracy theories. You can call it what you want. You can say that the Chiefs are very smart and they know how to, get those calls. You can say that it's, the NFL just wants the Chiefs to, however you want to slice it. Like the Eagles just can't let it get into a situation where it gets dictated by outside forces. And that happened in Super Bowl 57. At the very end, there's been debate ever since then, right? It's 2 years. Did Bradbury, did that warrant a holding call? Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But it came down to it, and it was an outside influence that the Eagles allowed to happen. So really this game is, be the better team consistently and sort of just step on the gas and don't let up. Grab a commanding lead, dominate the game like you've been dominating all season. Don't let the refs have any kind of influence.
Now, Tim, I actually have some hidden agenda on why I keep bringing it up because I think, and tell me if you agree with me, the more this is discussed, the more unlikely it is that the referees will give the benefit of the doubt to the Kansas City Chiefs because you had D'Amico Ryans talk about it after their loss. You had Sean McDermott talk about it after their loss. This has become a big talking point, not only here locally, but nationally. Do you think this is going to impact, though, with the way the referees call this game, where maybe they're not going to say, you know what, we're going to give that personal foul call against the Eagles because we keep hearing the outside noise? Any chance this benefits the Eagles with all this noise?
I think you got coaching in your future, Bill, if you want it. You're working the refs before the game.
Every angle, man.
Trying to get some calls to go your way. I like it. There's a lot of attention on it. I don't think that I'm not sure that it's really going to heavily influence the way that the referees call the game. I just kind of feel like the Chiefs are pretty good at drawing those penalties, honestly. And I'm sure there is there always is going to be an emphasis on protecting the quarterback. And we have seen over the course of the years, star quarterbacks tend to get a little bit of preferential treatment. But yeah, it can't hurt to put a little notice on it for sure.
Last question, Timmy. This is the theme of our show early on, and we're talking about whether it's indigenous to Philly alone to bail out on our own people before we should. The examples being, we wanted Sirianni fired. We wanted Hurts replaced. We wanted Roseman to be knocked out of there. To me, I think it's appropriate that we put that kind of heat we're a big market team. Bill thinks that we are not patient enough, and because we're not patient enough, we almost lost a brilliant mind like Nick Sirianni. Your thoughts?
We're going brilliant mind now with Nick Sirianni.
Well, that's Bill.
All right.
The smartest coach in the world.
That's Bill. That's
All
not me.
Yeah, he's done a great job. I think there's something to be said for patience. But Philly is Philly, and I think that having that kind of heat ultimately is not a bad thing. Like the standard is very high here, and the thing that I love about it is it's been that high even when the play wasn't even close to where the standard was. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and a lot of those teams were just on the outside looking in, and yet fans just wanted things to be at a championship level. And lo and behold, starting with Andy Reid, things started trending in that direction. Finally able to get over the hump in the 2017 season, and the Eagles have been formidable throughout that time. And I think that the pressure in the city is really doesn't work against them in that way. It's not something that the team loves all the time. Certainly the scrutiny, they probably wish that they're getting more credit or maybe getting like a little bit more slack than they get. But when you have a town and a media that is always, making sure that they are held to account, that does something to, I think, as well. It's like we can't slip. And so, and if you were to talk to players and you were to talk to coaches and executives, like I think they feel that. And, the right people thrive off of that. Not everybody can make it in this town. There's no question about that. Maybe there were some people who were real high talents that were kind of lost along the way because of that dynamic. But I don't think Philadelphia has anything to apologize for in the way that they care, in the way that they hold their teams to account. Yeah. It's why I love the city.
I totally agree with you. All right, I'm not going to ask you for predictions. Early in the week, you got to process a lot of stuff. So maybe later in the week when we're in New Orleans. And feel free to stop by our little Radio Row booth if you're.
I would love to do that.
Out. Yeah, come into the convention center and find us and sit down with us for a little bit.
I'm in. I'm 100%. You guys are
there. And I'll try to arrange
right?
the budget. I'll try to work with the budget for you.
Yeah, maybe if you can have a nice spread there, that would be good.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a spread, all right. Timmy, thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
I'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Tim McManus on the Comcast Business Hotline covering the Eagles for ESPN.com. 610-632-0975. We got a lot of callers on hold. And in fact, Vicente from Ecuador is saying that he's on his way down to visit us.
From Ecuador? He's coming all the way from Ecuador to here?
He is. He's there. The airplane is flying right here. It's going to land right here. Mike Missanelli Show. It continues live from Rally House in Willow Grove.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Sixers win. Play that song.
Yes, it is the Mike Missanelli Show. Look who's here. This is the world-famous Vicente from Lansdale, but from Ecuador. Yeah, yell something.
I'm on the phone right now.
Oh, you're on the phone. Oh, you're calling in. Yes. Oh, all right. So he's calling in.
So he's on the phone.
He's live here, but he's going to call in.
All right, he's on now. I see him on the line.
Oh, yeah, he's right here. He's on hold.
Let him get some shopping done.
Oh, man, he's too much, that dude. By the way, last night on the Grammys, I forgot to mention, like, these people I didn't know about. I didn't know who Doechii was. You ever heard of Doechii?
If I heard them.
Damn.
Like, I don't know
people. She was
people
on fire last night with her performance. She started out, and all of a sudden she goes like this. She rips off whatever she was wearing. She had a bathing suit on.
What's the song? What was her performance?
I don't know.
Like, I would know from
the song. I just know the performance was fantastic.
Yeah, I know songs. I don't know people. Yeah, I was asleep.
We're talking about the performance art.
Yeah, I was asleep,
night.
Unfortunately.
Like, and also Chapel Roan, you know her?
I do
Chapel
know.
Roan?
Yeah.
She had eye makeup. I swear to God, it must have taken 5 hours to put it on.
Yeah, she's always like that. But, yeah, I don't love her music, though. I mean, not a huge fan. But.
And there was this kid who played piano. I don't know who he is either. But he accompanied Lainey Wilson on a tribute. His name, you know this guy, Jacob Collier?
Nope.
You don't know him?
Nope.
I didn't know him either.
Who is he?
Good drop, Brian.
I don't know who these people are, man, but they're great performers. And I'm thinking, what am I missing? What do I need to listen to know these people?
I don't know.
Pop? Just pop? Pop stations?
I'm trying to think what one of our sister stations would carry that type of music.
I don't know. This guy is a young piano player. He's got spiky hair. He's like, well, he looks like he's 14. Oh, he's 30. Oh, God. All right. Let's go back to the phones. We got Steve checking in. Steve, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Steve?
Hey, what's going on, Mike? What's going on, guys?
Stevie.
So, when I hear about that, here's my thing. I don't think Eagles fans overreact. I mean, I was one that was high on the train of getting rid of Nick Sirianni after last season because, I mean, there was no identity to the team. There was no direction. And there was no answers. All we just kept getting that we just not making it up to the standard. But nobody had any thoughts or any things that could correct the problems. And it was just like that was just a bad football team. I mean, every game was just terrible to watch, and there was no answers. There was no correction. And for a Super Bowl coach to have that, being out of the Super Bowl for one season, it's just like I didn't think that he had control whatsoever. So yeah, I wanted him gone. And then when you look at Howie, I mean, yes, I'm glad that he's where he is now and we have what we have now. But there was a lot of headaches with that. I mean, the J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over DK Metcalf, Jalen Reagor, Derek Barnett. I mean, there were a lot of misses getting to where we are now. So it's just like we've been patient. But, I mean, and deservedly so, and everything worked out. But I
totally agree with you. So we have to reconcile the fact that we're made to feel bad now by Bill because we wanted Sirianni gone last year because he had lost control of his team. That was an indication to me. That's why I wanted him gone. He apparently had lost control of his team, and I go, if a guy loses control, what can I expect from him?
Yeah, and that's the one thing. And I'm just like, I mean, I'm glad where they are now, and I think that they are in the best position to win. But it's not dependent on the refs because I don't want that narrative anymore. It's just depending on how they play. Now, if they put their foot on the gas and they have to dominate the Chiefs on both sides of the football, this cannot be left down to the refs. You have to play a masterful game where the defense is on. I know you can't control Mahomes for everything, and he's just that elusive of a quarterback, but you can keep him in check. Offensive wise, you have to ball out. You have to ball out.
So how many points do you think you have to score to win this game?
You're going to you need to be in the high 30s.
Whoa! Really? High 30s? They're not getting.
You have to.
I don't think so. I really think the Chiefs aren't a prolific scoring team, so I don't think the Eagles have to get into the high 30s. I think 30 points wins the game for the Eagles. But the problem I see with Mahomes is that like you get him in a 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 6, and you got him, and he makes a play, and those kind of things like exasperate you as a defense.
They do. They're demoralizing on 3rd and long situations. But, Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think this is going to be a very high-scoring game for Kansas City. What Kansas City is going to try to do is they're going to try to limit the amount of possessions. They go methodically down the field. They don't have the explosiveness that's going to put up over 30-something points. There's a reason why they only averaged 23 points a game in the regular season. They don't score a lot of points. This is not the team you saw 2 years ago that had the number one offense in the NFL going into Super Bowl 57. This is a differently built team. But you're right, the Mahomes factor is hard. But Mike, Eagles score 30 points, they win this game. I'm with you.
I agree.
I don't know if they get 30, though. I'm thinking maybe 27 gets it done.
27, 24 gets it done? Yeah, I see that. All right, let's take a break, and we still have a lot of calls, including Vicente. He's in the building, on hold.
He's shopping.
Yeah, he's shopping as he's on hold. 610-632-0975. Big 1 o'clock hour coming your way. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Arriving in New Orleans, I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles arrived in New Orleans yesterday as they kick off the week leading up to Super Bowl Sunday. The media marathon began with the send-off yesterday and continues with opening night tonight at 8 o'clock. We spoke with Super Bowl 52 champion Torrey Smith last week, who remembered just how annoying this process can be and how it bothered one of his teammates.
You kind of just know that's just the schedule you're on. That it's just what comes with the territory. I remember Alshon being highly upset and bored at the process when we were going through it, and it does get on your nerves.
We'll see if it gets on the nerves of any of the Birds leading up to Super Bowl 59 against the Chiefs. We'll keep you updated with everything going on from New Orleans. We spoke earlier with ESPN's Tim McManus. You can catch that conversation one more time on our website, 975thefanatic.com. Looking elsewhere in town, a brutal weekend for the Flyers and the 76ers. 76ers open the weekend with a loss to the Nuggets, close it by blowing a big lead to the Celtics. And the Flyers, they haven't scored a goal in the week. They lost in Colorado yesterday. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. Let you know that this update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios instant push to talk walkie-talkies offer national LTE coverage. For a limited time only, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping at Echo Radio. Again, extra 5% off. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
$12.55, Mike Missanelli Show. A lot of folks stopping by and saying hello today. You like it as they're doing the shopping.
Yeah, we are.
They don't interfere with it either, man. They're determined to find something.
We're like regulars here now, man. This is like our third time in the last couple of weeks in Willow Grove.
You don't like that tie-dye shirt up there, huh? Like a little beach look?
It is nice.
Like on the beach at like 4:30 with a cigar.
Yeah, you're right. What I love about it here, though, is because there's so much variety, they have something for everybody's style. Like, that wouldn't necessarily be my style, but I know people who would wear it. Same thing with a lot of the other stuff. But I'm happy with what I got. I got the nice quarter zip. What do they call that? The Antigua is the brand, I think. I love it, man. Good stuff at Rally House.
Yeah, I want to see you wear that on the golf course.
I may. I'm probably going to wear it on the plane tomorrow when we head to New Orleans.
Oh, all right. You represent.
Yeah, I think we should represent. I won't represent on Radio Row, but I'm going to represent on the way down.
Okay. Let's go to Richard in Morrisville. Richard, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Rich?
Good afternoon, Michael.
How you doing, buddy?
Good afternoon, Ray and Bill. You know, if I could just take a quick second and ask you, based on, or how many points do you see, Mike, the Chiefs putting up?
23.
Okay. All right. So if that's if they're putting up 23, how many of those points are you? Okay, so there's garbage points, right? There's points that come at the end of the game. I think that the Eagles are going to be like the NFC Championship game. I believe that they're going to have a good handle. The defense is going to lock down. I don't think they're going to give up much, and I don't think they're going to have the same opportunity. So we have the breakaway, or we have the ability to put a lot of points up. So I'm curious, do you see any of those points coming at the end of the game, like in the fourth quarter, like we just give them up? Yeah, I think we're holding them to under 3 touchdowns.
I don't know. I think you got a good spin on it. It's possible. It's possible that the Eagles are ahead by, it's 27-13, and they score. They kick a field goal, then they score another touchdown late in the game to make it a 27-23 game.
Okay. All right. Now, if I could shift gears, based on what you were talking about earlier, conversation, I disagree with your view on our market and the amount of success that we've had.
Okay.
I'm closer to Bill's age. I'm 50, almost 50, and I don't remember any kind of sustained success for any of the franchises that we've had. So the amount of actual success that we've been able to look at for the market that we're in, the knowledge. There's other markets that have that you give me one market that's in tune and knows as much about each franchise as the Philadelphia sports fan. Give me another market that's even close.
Chicago, Boston, New York.
Come on.
Like, how do you know? Like, how do you know that they're not as passionate?
Because you can.
Have you lived in those? First of all, I worked in New York. I can tell you that it's crazy in New York. It's diluted because there's so many teams. But Chicago, Boston, Northeast corridor cities, Midwest cities like Chicago, obviously live and die with sports.
Okay, all right. Let's change it up. Let's go with something more direct, since we're talking directly. Give me another sports franchise or town that follows and goes to sporting events away. Sao Paulo, Brazil. Give me any.
Rich, hold on.
Come on, man.
Rich, you don't live in those other cities. You wouldn't know.
Yes,
you're giving me a total provincial view, but I still know what your point is when it comes to being patient. Because you yourself said there have been a lot of years that go by we didn't win anything. Yes, that's why I'm impatient. That's exactly why I'm impatient. Because you deserve better than that. So when a team loses 6 of their last 7, yeah, I'm impatient. Because to me, that looks like a coach who lost control. That's where my impatience comes from. I'm supposed to be patient watching that mess that happened at the end of the year. Oh, it's all right. I'm going to be patient. Come on. You can't be patient. If you're patient, you're not a fan.
There's levels of patience, though. This was my point. Is you're allowed to be frustrated. You're allowed to be upset with the way the last season ended, but you also have to look at the track record before that and know that it would have been an overreaction to make too big of moves.
I don't think it would have been an overreaction. A disaster overrules achievement. A disaster like that was a complete disaster.
All right, but you agree that Lori using patience was the right move because now we're going to New Orleans.
I don't know if he used patience or not. He took 2 weeks. Was he patient? He was thinking every day he should have fired him.
And he was even patient in his decision.
And he decided, you know what? I just gave the guy a 3-year contract, so it would maybe look stupid if I fired him now because I already introduced him as the new toy. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. You're listening to WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All right, let's start out the 1 o'clock hour. He's here live on the scene. He flew in from Ecuador, but he lives in Drexel Hill. His name is Vicente. Hola, amigo Vicente.
Hola, amigo Mikey Miss, and Bill Colarulong.
What are you doing? Where are you right now? What section of the store are you in?
I didn't want to grow too much commotion, so I came back to my car. I'm in.
Oh, you're in your car now. Well, how you feeling, Vicente, about the Eagles?
Feel very excited, very positive, optimistic, and I got to tell you the breaking news.
What, you got breaking news?
Yes, our friend Salciunas Barker, Saquon, yeah? He just proposed to his longtime girlfriend, Anna Condon.
Yes.
He met her in 2017 back in Penn State when he had an excellent
They were sweethearts. They were college sweethearts, in which case you go. It only took them 7 years to propose, though.
They have kids too, right?
Yeah, they have a couple. 7 years and a couple kids.
Right.
So I give him a thumbs up.
Finally, before he gets
a lot of people propose too soon, Bill.
He gave the engagement ring to her. So
yes, he did. He finally did. Yes.
So I know deep down in his heart, the only objective and the only goal that he has in mind now is getting the Super Bowl ring to share with her.
Well, of course. That's a complete love story.
Yes. It's going to be a movie. He's going to be the best running back ever in the NFL history.
Well, you're probably right about that. Yeah. Yeah. Su novia.
Yes. I came back 2 weeks ago from Ecuador. However, I had to do a million things in work because I just retired last Friday.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
I didn't know you were retiring. You're a young man. What are you going to do now with your life?
What?
What are you going to do with your life now? You're a young man. You retired young.
No, I'm going to do a competition with you, a podcast in Spanish and English.
All right. Let's do it. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, called the Correct the Mundo podcast.
So, yeah, I'm going to talk to Paul Blake and set up an appointment to go directly in your studio at the Comcast studio.
Okay. Sounds good, Vicente. Good seeing you today, buddy.
All right. Take care now.
All right, man. There he is. Vicente.
He gave us the breaking news about Saquon.
That was out a week.
It was
more than a couple weeks ago. But let's talk about that for a little second. Yeah, seemed to be a very happy couple without the restrictions of a ring or a marriage.
Yeah, but it's the ultimate.
She apparently didn't care. Her love for him was so strong she didn't need a symbol.
Oh, you don't know that. You don't know that.
It's 7 years.
Yeah, but you don't know. She could have been
8 years.
She could have been saying that she wanted to get married.
I don't think she's that type of girl.
But
she's just happy to,
But this is
with Saquon.
This is fairly new, though. I think this happened this weekend.
Yeah, it happened. Last week. I thought.
No, I think it just broke. I think it happened this weekend.
Just found out. I think he did it. Gave the ring a while ago.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I gotta tells people that Barkley tells People magazine exclusively that he and girlfriend Anna Congdon, who share 2 children, are engaged as he and the Philadelphia Eagles head to Super Bowl in New Orleans. Yeah, I don't know when.
How
he
much
did
people pay for that story? You think?
Had to pay a ton.
Sold the story of People.
I'm trying to figure out when it happened. I'm reading it as we go here. See, I thought the breaking news that Vicente was going to give us is we were aware that Myles Garrett requested a trade from Cleveland. He did it in a weird post, I thought, but Diana Rossini said, look, even though this is the biggest news of Super Bowl week, the Browns knew this was coming. I think this was probably planned. He's going to get moved. And every Eagles force is on Twitter saying the Eagles have to get him. He's the best defensive player, if one of the best. I just don't know if they can make it work. But I thought that was going to be the breaking news. But congratulations to Saquon
and his girlfriend, the Penn State students. You know, people fall in love at Penn State, Bill.
Did you?
I had a girlfriend, but she was a year younger than me. So when I left, I was, kind of, I didn't carry it.
I had a similar situation at Gettysburg, a year younger. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to make it work once you leave.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, she lived in Erie.
Erie, PA?
Yeah, she was a farmer. She used to bring back fresh steak from her farm.
What, like they would, like, slaughter the cow at the farm?
They would, and I said, I can't eat that.
Why not?
She had a freezer.
What?
She went for.
But you would eat it at a restaurant? What's the difference?
Did you know this cattle? She said, yes. She knew the name of the cattle. I go, I can't eat it.
Where do you think it comes from in the supermarket?
I get it, but it's like it was almost like her pet. You know, she knew that they named them.
Yeah, but in the supermarket, you're eating cow, too. Just because you didn't know the person who...
Bill, don't you think it's a little hinky? She said, did you know this cattle? Yeah. His name was Bessie or whatever the hell it was. And I go, what, did you have any feelings? Like, did you send Bessie off to get slaughtered?
It's the circle. The circle of life.
She goes, no, not really. It's a regular thing. I go, well, I can't eat that.
Dude, it's the circle of life, man.
I can't do it.
It's the food chain.
The steak had a name. I'm going to eat it. 610-632-0975. Every time I would cut into it with a knife,
look at this breaking news.
The Golden State Warriors, inquired. Oh, well, that's not news. They inquired about a trade for Paul George.
Would you consider it?
Absolutely, I'd consider it. Mike Missanelli Show continues after this.
The Birds Inside.
It's Mike Missanelli Show 111. Live at Rally House. I was watching the Grammys last night. I don't know. All the big name pop people get the awards, but did anybody win in what rock album won? Any band? Any particular band?
Talking to the wrong guy.
Rock.
I was asleep.
Come on, man, help me out here.
I was asleep, dude. I got to get my sleep.
The album of the year was Beyonce. Best pop vocal album, Sabrina Carpenter. Song of the year was. How about a shock that was she up for it? No, she wasn't. Taylor wasn't up for it. You know who's good that night? Shabuzi. You like Shabuzi?
Sure.
You know who Shabuzi is?
I know the song.
Kendrick Lamar won for Not Like Us.
Yeah, it might, and that was
you think right
the highlight of
song
Ray's
and
night.
record of the year.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on a second. Record of the year
was also
Not Like Us. Kendrick Lamar. Best new artist, Chapel Roan. Best comedy album. Huh.
Dave Chappelle.
The Dreamer. Dave Chappelle beat Jim Gaffigan, Nikki Glazer, Trevor Noah, and Ricky Gervais. I didn't see that one award. Best country album.
That was Beyonce.
Let's say best duo, best solo country, best country song, best dance electronic album. Brat by Charlie XCX.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
She had a great performance too.
What's that?
She had a great performance too.
Did she? I missed her performance. Oh, best Latin pop album, Given Out by Jenny. Las Mujeres Ya No Lloren.
By Shakira.
By Shakira.
Shakira.
Yeah. Oh, man, can I get to the rock? They didn't do the rock last night. They didn't show it, I don't think. Best rap song is Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. Another one.
Now, and Kendrick Lamar is going to be the halftime show.
Best rap performance, Kendrick Lamar. That's another one he won.
He won five I think Ray said.
All right, best rap album, Alligator Bites Never Heal by Doechii, who I mentioned before. I'm looking for the alternative, man. I can't get it. Oh, here it is. Best rock performance, Now and Then by the Beatles. What was that? Is this the right year I have?
What was the song that came out? Now and Then?
Best rock album, Hackney Diamonds by the Rolling Stones. Nah. Are they giving out an alt last night?
I don't know. But what a year for Kendrick Lamar, man. And now he's going to host the halftime show.
So we gotta vet this, but our Grammy talk today, somebody that works for the weekend wanted to extend an invitation to us to the concert in July he's having at the Link.
Oh man. I had a weekend's performances.
Yeah, you got to
fantastic.
You got to vet that.
I got to vet that one, but
come on, Ray.
But if that's the case, I'll be there in July.
Oh, I'll be there. Get it?
We'll have some fun there.
No, you can't see the weekend.
We'll get on stage.
You're
I'll do the blinding lights dance that used to be a TikTok trend. Mike doesn't know what I'm talking about.
I don't even want to know.
You're plugged out of the weekend, man. You're out. You didn't even watch it last night.
No, I did not watch it last night. Dude, I've been going over everything, Eagles, Chiefs, all the matchups. I needed some sleep last night, man. We got a long few days ahead of us in New Orleans.
All right, let's go back to the phones, and we'll go with Kareem in Delaware. What's up, Kareem? How you doing today?
Yo, Mikey, my man, it's been a few years, man. I haven't talked to you. If you give me about 90 seconds, man, I'm going to just give my spiel, and I'm going to get up out of here and just listen to your response.
Go ahead.
Good hearing from you. We used to talk cigars a lot.
Oh, yeah.
The last couple of years since we talked, I had a couple of ups and downs, divorce. I lost my dad. I'm actually sitting here wearing one of the Eagles hoodies that he got me for Christmas.
Man,
but
sorry to hear that, bro.
Thank you, man. Everything's great now, though. I'm actually headed to New Orleans on Friday. I'll be flying out Friday, so maybe I'll run into you.
Oh,
I'm gonna play
awesome.
some golf. I've picked up the game of golf lately. I'm obsessed with learning it. And I'm hoping by putting myself in the environment that my man Gilly the King, who's like the official mascot of the Eagles right now, somehow get me in this game. I'm just putting myself in the environment, and I'm manifesting that somehow I'm actually be in that game. I'm staying 7 minutes from the stadium. And
you never know. You never know. There are some people that are generous that have a ticket, they get stuck with it, and they go, "Hey, give me $50."
Absolutely, and I'm 7 minutes away. I'll be at the stadium by noon.
All right, man. Well, best of luck down there for you. And we're coming back
Eagles
on.
win by 2 scores. Eagles win by 2 scores.
2 scores. Huh? Does that mean 10 or does that mean 14?
10 or more. 10 or more.
All right, man. You got it.
Go Birds.
All right, Kareem. Thank you. I had a cigar last night. I always, when I do my bills, I have a cigar.
What do you still like writing out all your bills? Like this is like 15, 20 years?
Some of them.
You sending them via the Pony Express too to get to where they got to go? Instead of just going online and hitting pay.
No, see, what I track all my stuff for tax reasons.
No, I got you. It's probably the most efficient.
I got to keep a ledger.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Capone did.
Yeah, definitely efficient. Why do it online and then just print it out at the end?
I do some online. Maybe relax. I have some checks that I have to deposit because I got I'm a landlord.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so
yeah.
My wife's a landlord too. We deal
Really?
with the same stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then shut up. Don't
Yeah.
you're breaking my stuff.
I know. Oh yeah, because between the two of us, I'm the one that breaks stones the most.
Bust my onions
Yeah.
on this. All right, let's get to Charles and Bluebell. Charles, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Charles.
All right, Mikey, how you doing today?
What's up, Charles?
All right, listen, following that other caller, we're going to win by 2 scores. The difference from 2 years ago to now is our defense, and I think we will do well. But, Mike, I want to share this intimate sports moment that we had 7 years ago. I was shaking and in tears. We hugged at the Eagles Super Bowl parade. If you stand on Market
parade.
If you stand on Market Street looking west, Mike, me and you, it was a bar around 20th and Market on the right-hand side. You were there. We shared a cigar. We shared hugs, and that was a very intimate moment.
I remember that because we were doing the show in Pagano's.
Yes. As a matter of fact, the one celebrity that was there was former Phillies pitcher Cole Hamels.
That's correct. Cole walked through the Pagano's. He walked through to go to the bathroom with his kids.
Yes, he did. That was a very intimate moment, and it's going to happen again. You know, I feel the difference is our defense. If you remember 2 years ago, the Chiefs scored 2 touchdowns on blown coverages, and, they scored on that final drive because we couldn't shut down that jet sweep. We have the speed to do it now and the defense. So go Birds.
All right, buddy. Good hearing from you, Charles. All right, man.
Yep.
Yeah, so, that I was watching that Super Bowl with our good pal Anthony Gargano and his crew at in a hotel suite, the high-rise thing near 30th Street Station. What's that called?
I'm not sure.
It's always
I know what you're talking
always
about.
Lit up.
Yeah, I don't know the name.
And so they win it, and we we go on the streets with bottles of bourbon.
Yeah, it must have
been
a while.
Bottles of bourbon. We're just carrying bottles of bourbon. People going by in a car. That was fun. That was a fun time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But you talk about that Super Bowl. I know we're up against it. He was saying they couldn't stop the jet sweep. But really, when you look at the box score from that Super Bowl 2 years ago, it was just the one turnover. Yeah. If they don't lose the turnover battle like they have not done, this team has been great at protecting the football. I don't think the Chiefs beat them. I really don't. I don't think they're going to be able to put up enough points against this Eagles defense.
I'm kind of leaning that way right now, Bill, early in the week. But you know me, I can change. 610-632-0975. We do have 2 calls on hold. You want to climb in before we get out of here as we head to the home stretch on the Mike Missanelli Show live at Rally House in Willow Grove. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Arriving in New Orleans. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles arrived in New Orleans yesterday as they kick off the week leading up to Super Bowl Sunday. The media marathon began with a send-off yesterday, continues with opening night tonight at 8 o'clock. We spoke with Super Bowl 52 champion Torrey Smith last week, who remembered how annoying this process can be and how much it bothered a notable teammate of his.
You kind of just know that's just the schedule you're on. That it just what comes with the territory. I remember Alciunas being highly upset and bored at the process when we were going through it, and it does get on your nerves.
We'll see if any Birds get annoyed with the process as they prepare for Super Bowl 59 against the Chiefs down there in New Orleans. We got you a little bit of commentary from down in New Orleans earlier today. ESPN's Tim McMahon has joined us. You can catch that conversation one more time at 975thefanatic.com. Elsewhere in town, a tough weekend for 2 teams. Underman 76ers over the weekend blowing a game to the Nuggets, closed it by blowing a game to the Celtics. Meanwhile, Flyers haven't scored a goal in a week, lost in Colorado yesterday. This update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio. Get an extra 5% off. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
right, it's 127. Mike Missanelli Show. Bill, do you play music for your children, your young children? Is it a children's music album? Do you play any of that stuff?
Nah, not really.
No? Yeah, like how about the Disney radio station?
Now they're
Disney stuff.
They like Kids Bop. You know Kids Bop?
No, but the winner of the best children's music album last night was Brio Brio by Lucky Diaz and the Family Jam Band.
Nah,
you know that one?
I'll have to look it up. No, they're more like Kids Bop, where they take like the modern hits and then they turn it into like kid friendly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they take out kind of the risque parts.
Yeah, my daughter was young. We had the Disney channel on the radio. It was like an AM frequency.
Now you can get it on Sirius.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You do get it on Sirius.
Yeah.
All right, 610-632-0975. We have anything of significance on the text board, Ray?
We do.
What do we got?
Plenty on the text board. Telling Philly fans to be patient is ridiculous. Is there any room to be patient if we lose this one?
Yeah, there is. If they listen, again, I'm pretty pragmatic about this. If we go into this game and I see that the Chiefs just outplayed them, I go, okay, well, they weren't as good as the Chiefs. I'm like that. Although I do think that they are better than the Chiefs. The more I think about it, I think they're better than the Chiefs. So it's throwing me into a weird state this week.
Yeah, they're better than the Chiefs at every position, maybe outside of two, and this isn't taking anything away from Sirianni or Hurts, Mahomes and Reed. I mean, that is the X factor here. I think everywhere else, coaches, personnel, I'm taking the Eagles. I'm even taking Vic Fangio over Spagnuolo. I know Spagnola's done some great things, but what Fangio has done with his defense,
and Mahomes 8-0.
How do you argue it?
Mahomes 8-0 against them.
I know he is. But what Fangio did with his defense, taking it from the 30th ranked defense to number 1, I'm going with Vic every single time. So outside of Mahomes and Reed, and that's not taking anything away from, I love Nick.
Yeah. Again, this is one of these things where that guy makes so many weird plays that even though they're better on paper, he pulls something out. And the value of a quarterback who could make those kind of plays, like he's one notch ahead of Josh Allen when it comes to that. That was evident.
It is, but I will also say, just looking at this season, this is the best team that the Chiefs have played all year. The Philadelphia Eagles are the best team that the Kansas City Chiefs have faced all year. I know they've won 17 games. But so have the Eagles. The Eagles have won 17 games, and the Eagles have not lost in a game that Hurts starts and finished since week 4 against the Bucs, and they didn't have A.J., didn't have Lane Johnson. I mean, outside of that game, the Eagles really should have won every damn game. If Saquon catches the ball against the Falcons, we'd be talking about how the Eagles haven't lost all season with Hurts starting and finishing a game outside of that Bucs game. I mean, this is the best team the Chiefs have faced.
All right, Flyers got shut out, by the way, 2-0. They're having trouble scoring. The Celtics beat the Sixers last night. The Sixers had a 26-point lead in the third quarter. It's like I can't even fathom it. I was watching that game. I'm going, oh, my God. Boston just didn't show up in that first half. I'm going, they're taking an L tonight. They're taking an L. They came to Philly. They want the L. That's the way it looked. And all of a sudden, boom.
I know people say Mikey Mush. I think it may have been Billy Mush because I texted you, man, Sixers are dominating the Celtics.
Well, they were dominating.
And then it was over after that.
And the Celtics really had a feeble effort in that game. But let's look at the box score a little bit because I think a guy named Jason Tatum killed him a little bit. He played 44 minutes last night.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
In a game that really doesn't even matter. He played 44 minutes. The two guys the Sixers had were in sweatsuits. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah.
Joel was walking around in a nice sweat. He looks good in the sweatsuit. Porzingis, 18, 21, Jaylen Brown. All right, let's look at the Sixers. They had all 5 starters got in double figures. Yabusele with 21, Maxey with 34, Oubre at 18, although he shot 6 for 17. Ricky Council even threw in 11, and Justin Edwards with 12.
And it still wasn't
and
good
it's a big
enough.
L for them.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough.
No.
It's just frustrating. I know that the Celtics never would have made the trade with the Sixers if they knew the Sixers were going to take Tatum. But the fact, again, that they missed in that draft, well, that was the Markelle Fultz draft, right, where they trade the move up, get Fultz, and then Celtics take Tatum. It's just like over and over and over and over again. Drew Holiday, I know that this is going way back. That guy's one of the best defenders in the NBA. He was here. It's like...
Yeah, but he didn't do anything here.
He didn't because he didn't have the team around him.
He grew into a player later in his career. He was a disappointment.
I guess the one good thing is I saw you tweet out that Jaden Springer can't play, so at least they made the right decision trading him out.
Maxey was cooking him so bad that they went to the end of the bench to get that guy in the game, and he got cooked, and that was the end of him. He's not an NBA player, that guy. The Sixers, how many years did they waste trying to develop that kid as their number one pick?
Well, I will say, last year's trade deadline, when they traded Springer to the Celtics, I'm like, all right, here we go. Jaden Springer's going to come back to haunt us now, too, because the Celtics will turn him into somebody.
Yeah.
But I think you're probably right.
He can't play. Emmett in North Dakota joining us. What's up, Emmett? You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up?
Hola, Mikey Miss.
What's up? What's
How
up,
are you,
Emmett?
Counselor? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. How many Vicentes did you run into in North Dakota?
Yo, so I made it through the Badlands. I'm heading up. I'm almost passing the Pee Wee Herman Dino on I-90 here.
Oh, no.
And now,
you passing Large Marge?
Yeah, I am.
I had a guy.
But listen to this pathetic situation. Me and my son, so I got pathetically, I have a soccer mom minivan, Kia Sedona. Don't want to, I don't even know if I could say that, but sorry. And anyway, we swap out. He's got a nice Ford F-150, so it's 4x4. That's what I'm in now. But his cruise control isn't working. And I'm making this venture out to Salt Lake City to see our great organization that can't score.
Yeah.
But I'm still trekking out there to represent.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. They're in a rebuild. They're in a rebuild. It's interesting. They traded two young guys that were supposed to be part of their building into another rebuild.
They are, and I think both of them will play tomorrow night, so hopefully I could see that. But
they got an older
grabbing
player.
my rental.
Wasn't he older?
Grabbing my rental.
Who they traded away?
Yeah, they got
Russian guy?
they got expiring contracts. That's what they wanted.
All right. All right, Emmett. You have fun, buddy.
Look at us
No, I
taking
will.
some Flyers calls. I love it, Mikey Bass.
Where do they play next? Flyers? Utah? Oh, that's right. They play the Utah Hockey Club.
Yeah, that's why he's driving over there from North Dakota. Like we talked about today, Philadelphia fans maybe don't have patience. I think the Flyers fans have been the most patient of any fan base, man, because they have not. Look, we went through Hextall. Oh, we got to be patient. Then Chuck Fletcher, we got to be patient. Now Danny and Keith Jones, we got to be patient. I am losing my patience.
What do you think about the fact that Flyer fans have been patient? See, that rankles me. Well, all right, this blows your whole point. The fact that they've been patient has been detrimental.
Yeah, but we're a different breed, Flyers fans. We're different than the Eagles and the Sixers and the thing.
Are you proud of that?
No, I understand. Like preaching patience now, I'm okay with because it's Keith Jones and Danny Briere appear to have a plan.
Why? Because they were ex-Flyers?
Well, I don't think Chuck Fletcher had a plan. I think Danny and Keith had a plan.
When all things fail, throw in an ex-Flyer and buy 5 more years.
Is that all?
Might as well. I mean, that seems to be the way they do it. Like guys like you. Well, it's Danny Briere and Keith Jones.
But listen,
I like both of them too. Can they build a team? I don't know.
If the Philadelphia Eagles went through the amount of losing that the Philadelphia Flyers have gone through, then I would understand fans saying, get rid of Howie, get rid of Nick. Jeffrey Lurie doesn't know what he's doing. But you got to put it all into context. You should trust what Jeffrey Lurie's doing. We should not overreact after one bad season like last year when the year before you're in the Super Bowl. When in 2017 you're winning the Super Bowl. That you're the most winningest franchise in the NFC in the last 8 years. Like, you got to look at those factors and put that into perspective. With the Flyers, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be patient anymore. They haven't been to the playoffs in years. The Sixers, we shouldn't be patient. But with the Eagles, I think they've earned our patience a little bit.
The Flyers are coming up on 50 years without winning.
I've never seen it. Never seen it in my lifetime.
50 years.
I know, man. Don't remind me. And as a kid, that was my sport, man.
You still go to the window. Give me my season tickets.
I know.
Because we're patient. We're a different breed. Danny and Keith and Jonesy.
Torts.
And Torts. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Now,
It's Mike Missanelli Show, 142. A couple shout-outs. A guy named Jeff asked me to sign his Penn State hat. His wife was here. Lovely wife brought up the merchandise over here and said that her husband wanted me to sign it. But he also wanted you to sign it.
Yeah,
which I deemed a violation. I said, no, that's you can't be signing the Penn State hat.
I know. I said I'm not going to sign it. She said he wanted me to.
Yeah, but she insisted on it.
So I did sign it.
And my man Howard Jaffe is here. And the WHO run this organization called Teen Cancer America, and Howard's involved with it. This is a California organization. And the WHO, of course, is one of my all-time faves, man.
Yeah.
If you go
Pinball Wizard,
if you rank the rock bands in bigness, it goes. This is always my top 5: Beatles, Stones, Zeppelin, The Who, and 5 is always a discussion. It's between Pink Floyd and U2.
Yeah, I'd go Pink Floyd. I loved Pink Floyd.
Man, U2 much more prolific.
They have, but the songs resonate. Like Pink Floyd's for some reason just really hits me, that song.
Well, the only problem with Pink Floyd is to really enjoy him, you got to have a needle in your arm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, or...
So,
or a little bowl.
You don't have a needle, it sounds a little hollow.
No, I think you could still enjoy it.
All right.
Mike's not suggesting anyone should do that.
No. You kids at home?
Yeah.
Spend your money on cigarettes. No.
He doesn't mean that either.
No, I don't.
I'll just keep providing the disclaimers. Keep going.
Exactly. All right, let's go to Alex in Bethlehem. Alex, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Alex.
Yo, guys, first of all, have a great time in New Orleans. That's awesome you guys are going. Enjoy
Thank you. We'll try to reflect the excitement of Radio Row and all the people down there. See, it's funny because a lot of other media outlets not from Kansas City or not from Philadelphia are there. So, we feel like we have a proprietary interest.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'm sure you boys will represent us well. Guys, I'm just obviously so excited. I'm super confident. Let's start with just these 2 weeks, as annoying as they are. I think our guys are really benefiting from that rest. Juergens, Dickerson, and I think just a lot of guys were banged up after that NFC Championship.
Yeah, I agree. And those 2 weeks help. I didn't like it at first because it throws off the rhythm, and especially for what we do. Like, to kill in 2 weeks prior to a game is tough. It's tough sledding. But, to have the best game, you want the guys as healthy as possible.
Yeah. And, I mean, obviously the Chiefs are resting also. I just think it's going to do us, it's going to be more beneficial to us in the long run. But guys, just my last point, Devontae Smith, I think he's really going to be the key for us in this one. They're going to be so focused on Saquon. I don't think they're going to slow him down, but they're going to be focusing all their attention on him. With McDuffie on A.J. Brown, I think it's just a formula for Devontae Smith, who was really good in the last Super Bowl. I'm just going to keep saying it. Number 6, he's going to have a big game, and I think he's the key to victory.
Pretty good call by you, because I got to think Spagnuolo's going, all right, who will I have to take away? Well, I'm going to take away A.J. Brown. We got to take away him. Even though we'll risk it with Devontae. And Devontae usually makes big plays. So I agree.
And that's the beauty of the well-roundedness of this team. But, all right, thanks, guys. Go Birds. Let's go.
All right, Alex, you got it, buddy.
You talked about that week off in between.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once the NFL goes to an 18-game schedule, which is going to happen, it's inevitable, we're going to have the perfect scenario. Because then you'll put that week in between the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship, and then guess what? Everybody will have off the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday because it's President's Day. It's perfect. That's what they should have done for years. Nobody, especially the local kids. You're telling me the Eagles win the Super Bowl, all the kids got to wake up and go to school at 8 o'clock in the morning?
Do you are you young enough to just have President's Day? Because I'm old enough to have a Washington and Lincoln.
I had both.
Day off.
Yes, I remember Abraham Lincoln. Yeah. You had his day. It was like February 16th or so. I forget what it was. But I remember getting both. Now they just combine.
I wonder what either guy would they're dead now, obviously, but whether they would resent it. Like,
what if they had?
Well, what did you do? I founded the country. What did you do? Oh, I ended slavery in America and ended the Civil War. Who gets a bit more clout?
Yeah, kill two birds with one stone. You get to celebrate them both on the same day.
See, that's
you don't have to choose.
Two magnificent achievements. They both should get their own day.
You don't have to choose.
All right, let's go to Rashid in Philly. Rashid, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Rashid.
Good afternoon, fellas. Can you hear me?
Rashid? How you doing?
All right, I'm going to get to my point. All right, so my point is I don't think I'm leaning more towards I don't want to see a game like he did the first Super Bowl, even though he performed well, because our running game was trash, like super trash. So that's one. And then on top of the Philly shell, we ain't got to worry about no water fields that we got to slip baby oil all over the field, slipping everywhere like we did last Super Bowl. We ain't got to worry about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I know. That was a big excuse, the field.
That was right, but we also know, like, they must the hottest state in the month. And
Amazingly, it dried up for the other team.
Amazingly, but it's cool, though. I'm going to get to our Philly shell.
You and I will never agree on this.
I know.
We got our Philly shell, and we got better cornerbacks that can cover. We had a pass rush that time. That's all we had. Yeah. We got better cornerbacks now.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's better. And our running, how you going to game plan somebody you never played against?
Yep. That's a pretty good call by you, Rashid. I like it. All right, man.
There it is.
Thank you.
Rashid, everybody making some good points here as we close this out.
But I keep going back to you can game plan all you want. The way the Philadelphia Eagles dominate you in the rushing attack is they out-physical you on the line of scrimmage. And then all you have to do is give Saquon Barkley a little crease. And if someone has to bring him down in the open field, I'm taking Saquon every time. So Spagnuolo's a great defensive coordinator. I agree. But I don't know how you scheme up being out physical.
I don't know how you do it either. And I don't know how you prevent him from, like, he breaks your spirit with a long run.
Exactly.
For a touchdown. And, you can game plan all you want, stop, and then in one play breaks your heart. You go, that lets the air out of your defense. So I think that's what he's really got to coach. Don't let the air come out with this dude.
That big play. But and this is where it's going to be on Kellen Moore, and they've done a good job of this, Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni, not to abandon the run. This is something they've done well all season. Even when it looks like maybe they're slowing Saquon down, you keep feeding them because all it takes is one, and then boom, you get a 70-yard touchdown run. So I'm excited for that. And we haven't spent a lot of time on it, Mike, but people are concerned about Moore being distracted because he's going to be down in New Orleans, and they're even practicing at the Saints facility. But I think people underestimate. Of course he wants the Super Bowl.
No, here's what I think. I think they have told him he has the job, but just to coach. Like, we're not going to even bother you. We're not even going to be in touch with you.
Yeah,
you have the job. We're not going to release it. You don't tell anybody. You focus on what you need to focus on.
I think you're spot on. That's the difference with the Gannon situation because Jonathan Gannon didn't know he was necessarily getting the job. They wanted to talk to him again. They did secretly in the days leading up to the Super Bowl. That's a distraction. You're right. Kellen Moore, you got the job. Go win yourself a Super Bowl. We'll see you on Monday.
Because it's evident he's got the job.
Without a doubt.
Now, the only thing is, like, how the Eagles carry on from that with another offensive coordinator for the quarterback, which is another discussion for another day.
Well, there's other things, and we could discuss this tomorrow. It's not only the offensive coordinator. You probably lose your quarterback coach, Doug Nussmeier. And then who else does Kellen Moore try to pluck from this staff? Does he take somebody on the defensive side of the football and say, hey, I want you to be my coordinator? Like, do they start to now lose some of these assistants?
Suppose they offer Doug Nussmeier the offensive coordinator job.
I think he's following Kellen. I do.
Going with Kellen?
I do. I think he's going to go with Kellen Moore because Kellen Moore is going to make him the offensive coordinator.
You think he is?
In New Orleans. Yes. He'll go. Kellen Moore will be the head coach. Doug Nussmeier will be the offensive coordinator. My concern is, does he pluck one of the defensive guys like the Christian Parker or Clint Hurt and say, hey, I'm going to make you defensive coordinator.
Huh.
And now you're replacing
work with Derek Carr.
A lot of people.
Would you rather work with a better quarterback if you're going to be a coordinator?
Don't they have Spencer Rattler?
Yeah, he stinks.
Yeah, he does stink.
All right, it's time
this man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play.
Closing arguments. What are they talking about? Jaden Springer, Stephen A? All right.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit LowenthalAbrams.com.
My closing argument today is a backlash to Bill. And here's the backlash. Because Bill is saying this fan base is too impatient. I don't know if he's trying to distinguish it from other fan bases. I think major cities that are big markets are very impatient with their sports teams because they demand achievement, they demand entertainment, they demand success. So I don't think we're impatient at all. If you think we're impatient because we watched the coach last year lose 6 of his last 7 games and said he can't come back, that's not impatience. That's understanding the reality of it. Now, it just so happened that, Bill, you got a bone because they decided to come back with Sirianni after what I think is like 2 weeks of consternation, and they finally gave it up. And it paid off. But that doesn't mean that we didn't have a right to be impatient. We couldn't sit there, watch them lose 6 or 7, and say, well, la-di-da, everything is fine. Let me go pick some flowers. So I like the fact that we're aggressive. I like the fact that we're impatient. It keeps organizations on their freaking toes. Bill?
There's levels of impatience. That's where I'm drawing the line, is you can be impatient, you can demand more. It's the immediately going to calling for people's heads that I have a problem with. And I do think that is more a Philadelphia-based thing, where one bad season, we want this guy fired. One bad draft, we want this guy fired. Whereas if the owner reacted that way, I'm not sure we're in the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 3 seasons, because he showed patience in keeping Howie Roseman when he did. He showed patience in keeping Nick Sirianni when he did. And because of it, you and I are taking a flight tomorrow afternoon going down to New Orleans because the Eagles are in the damn Super Bowl. So be frustrated, demand more. Just don't call for heads to roll immediately when things don't go right. That's my point.
All right. By the way, tomorrow we shoot down to the airport, and so we're going to have to hurry up and catch a plane. We won't have time to do a Ray Dunn and sit at some bar as we're trying to get on board.
With the beer.
And quaff a 20-ounce IPA.
All right, we could talk more about this tomorrow. I am very concerned about when I'm going to eat, because I need to eat every 2 hours, or every 3 hours, excuse me. I don't know when we're going to eat, because we're going to rush to the airport. Then we got a quick layover in Atlanta. Then we're back on the flight. And then we're in New Orleans at like 10 o'clock our time.
Yeah, well, dude, don't worry about it. Just pack an extra kind bar, too.
Trust me. The wife already knew she had to speed up the order from Amazon because I got to get my kind bars in the bag.
Bring a protein powder, and they'll give you some milk to blend it.
I'm very nervous about eating. I'm not nervous about the game. Eagles are going to win. I'm nervous about how I'm going to eat on our travel.
All right, let me thank some people here. Brandon, who had the YouTube situation all hooked up today, and also Will did a fine job as our engineer today. And, of course, Ray Dunn back at the studio, and anybody else who helped Ray back there. Everybody have a great night. We will be in the studio tomorrow, as it'll be our last show before we broadcast from New Orleans. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Fanatic